Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Friday, and we have a lot to do today. Raptors beat the Nets last night on Darko's birthday to give him his 20th victory in his coaching career against the Brooklyn Nets. It was a rout. It was pretty awesome to watch. Fun game to watch. All kinds of different little mini storylines in it. All kinds of stuff to talk about today. And then we've got games tonight. In fact, I'm going to start with that first, and then we'll do the reactions to last night because, yeah, there's a game tonight also. There's two games, actually. Double duty tonight. Raptors are in Atlanta. No rest for them. Back to back. Immediately get on the road. Go there. It's a trap game. Atlanta did not play yesterday. They've been resting the whole All-Star break. Now, in some ways, that could be good for the Raptors because we see sometimes teams are slow to get back to things from the All-Star break. And, well, Atlanta didn't get their back to from the All-Star break game yet. We're going to be that tonight. So in some ways, the NBA may schedule this game like really crappily for us. I mean, we have 2 days off next, Saturday and Sunday. They could have easily put this game on Saturday, but there's probably some sort of scheduling conflict at the Atlanta Arena or something stupid. But yeah, the Raptors winning last night and having to go straight to Atlanta to play the Hawks tonight. Yeah, it's fishy, scheduling fishy, but I'm hoping it could backfire on them. That the Hawks are lackadaisical, not ready to come back from the break, and the Raptors are warmed up because they routed the Nets last night. So let's hope for that. It's really annoying. It's annoying. The schedule this year has been awful. Every single Eastern Conference team that matters, we've had to play on a second night of a back-to-back at some point. Philadelphia, a bunch. Boston, New York, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Milwaukee, all these teams we've had to play on the second night of a back-to-back this whole season. It's like they always want us to not make the playoffs. It really is. It's like that. In some ways, we've been totally ref differently when we're playing the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. There's a lot of weird, fishy stuff. The refs last night weren't bad, but we'll talk about that. Let's start with tonight. The injury report for the Atlanta Hawks. Mohamedou Gay is out for them. It's his back. He's been out for a while. And Okongwu is actually out. They said on Thursday that he'll be sidelined for the foreseeable future due to his toe. So this is a big blow to them. Of course, Okongwu is one of their really talented bigs. Now, they haven't had Capella recently also. Clint Capella is going to be returning tonight for the first game in a while because he didn't play before the All-Star break, and they've been really leaning on Bruno Fernando recently, the Atlanta Hawks. But Capella's supposed to return to the lineup tonight. But they are going to put a minutes restriction on him. So just so you know, Capella is scheduled to be back, but he's on a minutes restriction because it's his first game back. The Hawks lineup looks as such: Trae Young, the All-Star, DeJounte Murray, Sadiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella, Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeAndre Hunter, Patty Mills, Wesley Matthews, Bruno Fernando, Garrison Matthews, Kobe Buffkin, Trent Forrest, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, the Hawks have been losing more recently. You know, they've had their ups and downs. They had a little bit of a 4-game winning streak the last time we played them. They beat us by 1 point, and then they went on a little 4-game winning streak. But since then, they've been 2 out of 6 for their games. They've won 2 out of 2 and 4 in the last 6 games that they've had. But they've been tough opponents they've been playing, although they got routed by the Charlotte Hornets on Valentine's Day before the All-Star break. But we have to remember the Hornets have actually changed very recently after the trade deadline. They're a lot more vet. They've got Grant Williams and a couple other guys showed up there recently. So the Hornets are a little bit different. But, yeah, Atlanta lost two games in a row to Chicago and Charlotte in their last 2 games. So we need to beat them too. On our side of things, it's still just Marquise Noel is the only injury report. Everybody else is healthy. We saw that team running last night. We saw the rotations that Darko's using. He's using a 9-man rotation with our starters and Bruce Brown, Grady Dick, Ochai Abaji, and Kelly Olynyk. That's basically the rotation right now. Now, it was funny. We saw some guys get in late. We'll talk about that in a sec. All right, let's see. Referee report for tonight. The referees, first of all, for the G League game, I'll just do this real quickly. Remember, the G League game starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time. It's in West Coast, Santa Cruz, California. The Raptors 905 are over there. and it will be at 10. So the game tonight against Atlanta, 7:30 p.m. It should tie up and be done just in time to watch the the Santa Cruz Warriors versus the Raptors 905 at 10 p.m. tonight. So if you're a real junkie and you don't really go out on a Friday night, you can watch Raptors right up until midnight or just past midnight. So y'all be ready for that. The crew chief for the Raptors 905 game at Santa Cruz Warriors is Julian McFadden, number 52. The referee is Kenneth Gardner, number 75, and the umpire is Eric Alig, number 4. So yeah, if you watch some Raptors basketball tonight, you can get your fill. That's right. The crew chief for tonight's Raptors Atlanta Hawks game, 13th season out of Little Rock, Arkansas. It is the Star Wars fanatic. Carl Lane is our crew chief tonight. Carl's been a ref recently. Yeah, his favorite TV show is Power. He likes Star Wars movies and Star Wars books. He listens to Jay-Z. His favorite meal is Mexican. His favorite app is Candy Crush. He'd most like to visit Rome and see the 7 wonders of the world. And his hidden talent is home repair. I feel like if Carl Lane was in the referee talent show at All-Star Weekend and his talent is home repair, that he might get Scotty Barnes to help him with that his show, because Scotty's all about the trade school. Maybe he get him up there. Maybe they do some Tada work real quick. Tada, 647-833-6844. If you need any home repair, you can call Bradley here in the Toronto area. He'll come help you as low as $89. But I'm just saying, like, maybe Scotty and Carl Lane could like do a little pet project in a talent show or something like that. I think it's cool. Honestly, I think it's cool. The second ref is the cop. One of the cops, one of the former cops that is in the NBA as a referee at this point. Justin Van Dyne. Yes, that's right. 10th season, Justin Van Dyne out of Arcadia, California. His favorite TV show is Entourage. He likes the Jason Bourne movies. He listens to Jimmy Allen. His favorite book is Moneyball. He likes to eat sushi. His favorite app is the Chive. He must like to visit Ireland, and his bucket list is to visit every MLB stadium. As I said, Justin Van Dyne was a police officer in Ontario, California for 9 years, but he also was a middle school physical education teacher for 2 years in California. So he's been a phys ed teacher and a cop. Now, I didn't do the splits for Carl Lane, so I'll do them real quick, and then I'll do Justin Van Dyne. Carl Lane, we won 2 games in a row when the Star Wars fanatic is present at our game, which is awesome. We win 59% of our games historically, and the Hawks win 54%. So the split is 59-54 for the Raptors with crew chief Carl Lane tonight. Justin Van Dyne is the worst referee for the Raptors today, but he still favors us. We won the last game that Justin was present at, but we lost the 2 before that. So we're 1-2 with him this season. 54% winning percentage for the Raptors. And meanwhile, the Hawks are 41%. So 54-41, the split for the Raptors with the second ref, Justin Van Dyne. The third ref is the NFL tight end, Eric Dahlin. Eric Dahlin was from the University of Minnesota in his 17th season out of Minnetonka, Minnesota. Eric Dahlin is a tight end that's very famous for playing college football for the University of Minnesota. I believe he did make it to the NFL, just barely, but maybe not. But he's a very famous tight end in college. His favorite TV show is NCIS. His favorite movie is We Were Soldiers. His favorite musician, Zach Brown. He likes to eat chili. He likes to use Netflix. He wants to cruise around the world and take a ride in a fighter jet. Yeah, so we've got our Star Wars fanatic, a cop, and a tight end. Basically, he's a tight end. Football player is that guy, Eric Dahlin. Eric Dahlin is, let me see. Where is he on this list? He's the best ref today for the Raptors. He's the one we like the most. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Okay, there it is. We win 63% of our games when Eric Dahlin is present historically, and the Hawks win 51%. So the last split is 63-51, and we are 1-1 with Eric this year as a team. All right, so there's your ref report. It doesn't look too bad. You know, it's weird. We've gotten the last 2 games really big referees, like size-wise. Did you see Kevin Cutler out there standing next to some of the NBA players? He is bigger than half the team. In fact, he's like 6'9" himself. You notice when Kevin Cutler threw the jump ball for the game last night against the Nets, he was very bullying in the paint and like in the circle, and really he actually kind of forced the ball to Ben Simmons off the jump ball right away. Like, he did not throw it up straight up. He kind of tipped it to the side so that the Nets would get it really quickly. And then Ben Simmons sprinted at the basket to try and make a quick layup. And Scotty blocked the shit out of him. I was like, they tried to pull a dirty one on us, but all-star Scotty stopped that right then. And then it was pretty much like Ben Simmons is disappearing into the hedge like Homer for the rest of the night. That was hilarious. Like, some people were saying last night, is Ben Simmons? Oh, yeah, he is playing in this game. I see him out there, but I don't really see him. Yeah, I mean, it was like that for Ben Simmons. Holy crap. Like, what the hell? But what a great game. I'm really proud of the Raptors taking care of business for Darko on his birthday. You know, the Nets are really bad. We had no business losing to them, and we definitely needed to beat them. It's a good, like, warm-up game to get going into this last part of the season. The guys are committed to winning. You can tell there's a certain approach to the game last night that was conducive towards winning, very professional, working very hard, communicating, working together, all that good stuff, and beating the Nets. That's the important thing. They shot really well from three. We had a fantastic night from our backcourt of Gary Trent Jr. and Emmanuel Quickly, both scoring very well last night. So let's get in the comments to see what you guys are talking about this morning, and we'll do some review and reaction to the game last night. But yeah, Hawks, you're up next, and we're in Atlanta to beat your ass is what's going on. Yeah, Monique is first in. She was at the game last night at the Scotiabank Arena, taking in Caribbean night. Fantastic night every time we do it. It seems like this game just brings good vibes. It seems like we win when we do this night. In some ways, can we just make this the normal thing? This is what we were saying last year after this Caribbean Heritage Night last year. It's like, damn, this game's fun. The announcers are eating food. They ate food for like a whole section, a segment of the broadcast last night. How unprofessional. Only these guys can get away with this. Like, what is this? We're watching the game and all we hear is, oh, this is really good, Matt. And it's like, oh, isn't it, Jack? I can't stop eating it. I couldn't stop if I tried. I know we're supposed to because we're supposed to call the game. What is this? What is this? KG getting on there, Kayla Gray, and said, oh, I got the itis. I got the itis. These motherfuckers eating on the job. I was saying, man, they ate more food during that segment of the broadcast than they eat on Raptors Tonight later on. It's like Jack don't eat at Raptors Tonight. He sits there with Randy Urban, and he just looks at the food, but he never eats it. Well, that motherfucker was chowing on the regular broadcast last night. That's hilarious. Like, Jack, you won't eat it on the Raptors Tonight, but you were pigging out last night. That's how good that food is. That's how good it is. But yeah, the vibes are always good on that night. And the Raptors always win on that night. So can we just make this the regular vibe of the Toronto Raptors? I'd be all about that. Seriously. You have the same music, same people, all that kind of stuff. I know maybe it'll wear off at some point. But man, this Caribbean Heritage Night cause good things. All kinds of things. Happiness, dancing, good food, Raptors win, good vibes, everybody's smiling. I love it. I love it. It's so good. Yeah. Most saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Everything was clicking on all cylinders last night. What a game. I wasn't worried. She wasn't worried. Yeah, I was a little bit, but it was only because, you know what we were doing last night? We were antagonizing the Nets. Like, I know that Dennis and Scotty are friendly. They're fine. Some people may read some of the stuff that happened last night as they really don't like each other, but I think that it really is a safe space for shit talking between people that respect each other, and they were just really relishing it and enjoying it. In fact, I know RJ and Mikal Bridges and Scotty and Dennis. You know, there was a lot of shit talking last night. In fact, there were people ripping off each other's moves. Scotty did the Mikal Bridges like little thing that he does after he makes a shot to his face. I'm like, Scotty, what are you doing, bro? In some ways, he did it way early in the game. He did it like within the first 5 minutes of the game. And I'm like, bro, man, what are you doing, man? I think that our Raptors are going to have a hard, tough lesson at some point. They need to amend some of their behaviors. Because honestly, I can look at this two ways. In some ways, I like the swagger. I like the attitude. I like the kind of like cockiness. But y'all are going to get burned for this shit. I'm not going to lie. Seriously. Other teams don't need more get up and go to come kick your ass because you're showing them up and doing their moves to them. Like IQ did the freeze to kind of make get at Dennis. He makes a three and he does the freeze. And he's like, oh, and like, see, poking the bear can be dangerous. Poking the bear can be dangerous. And there's a couple of different things that happen. Akil Augustine, the beginning of the game on the broadcast in the in-game arena, says some very kind of on the down low demeaning things about the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm like, no, Akil, don't say those things. They can hear you. They're right there practicing and shooting, and you're over the whole PA in the building. That's why his job is really, really treacherous and scary and dangerous what he's doing, because he's broadcasting to the Raptors and the Nets at the same time while he's in the arena talking to all the fans. You got to watch out what you say, Akil Augustine, because you will get that team riled up and wanting to kick our ass if you say insulting things. I love what you said about Grady. You're talking about Grady's the leading three-point percentage for rookies in the month of February, just above Chet Holmgren. As far as Grady is the number one shooter for rookies in threes right now. That was great. But then, don't put the digs on the Nets also in there. So we were really giving them gumption to want to beat our ass. Trust me. Not to mention they had their coach's rookie coaching debut, Kevin Ollie. They're going to want to win one for him too. So it's very dangerous. In some ways, we don't have the swagger as a team as far as like we can kick people's ass to be talking so much shit like we have been. In some ways, it's like Scotty is just going to do this kind of shit. He's going to do this kind of shit. Well, you're going to have to grow into your powers to be able to back it up so that we don't look stupid. Because honestly, if you start showing up people in the beginning of games like this all the time, it's not going to be good. There's going to be more often than not, NBA players are capable and they're going to get back at us. It's not like we want to amp them up. It's like if you see a rattlesnake on the nature trail, you don't want to kick it. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to kick that rattlesnake. Just walk by it and hope you don't get bit. You don't need to kick it while you're walking by. It'll probably strike at you. And in fact, when the Nets came out after halftime, they were playing with some passion. They were playing perfect. They actually were kicking our ass. And they ate up the 11-point lead we had at halftime, partly because they may have came in the back and they said, hey, look at this highlight of Scotty showing you up, Mikal Bridges. Hey, Dennis, look at Emmanuel making fun of your freeze. We don't need to do this, y'all. Seriously. Do the Skipley, do the flex. You did a flex to Dennis, too, when you scored on him. I know it was all good fun. And some of the stuff with Scotty and Dennis was like contact and, really crazy foul calls. Dennis was like freaking out because Scotty, he fell on top of him and they called the foul on Dennis. But Dennis was doing a sneaky thing where the pro grabs the guy by the shirt and pulls him down on top of him and tries to make it look like he ran over him. Well, the refs are too smart. They saw right through it and they called the foul on Dennis. And that's smart. But there was a lot of extracurriculars between certain people on the court last night that maybe was unnecessary. I'm just saying, it's not totally a good look. And some of the NBA purists like me around the league that don't really watch the Raptors are kind of like, Scotty, you showboating so early, it's like trashy because you haven't done anything. And I kind of agree with them. If you're going to do those kind of taunts, do them in the fourth quarter when you're winning and you're up. Don't do it so early. It's really not smart. In some ways, we've got to be better sports and maybe not taunt people because it's just not necessary. Usually when you taunt people, it's not a good thing. I'm very uncomfortable with it. In fact, what I'm saying is if you could continue to do this, you're going to get burned and we're going to lose a game because of it at some point. I'm telling you right now, there's too many people in this league with egos. And if you piss them off, they will fucking go off on you. And you all really need to not poke bears. Seriously. You really, really don't. It really kind of annoyed me that they were doing that to those guys. I mean, I get it. You guys want to show them up. They're in weakened state. We actually did beat them. If we had lost to them and y'all had done that stuff early in the game, I would have been like, y'all are losers for doing that. Seriously. Y'all came out there and fucked with them with their taunts. And then you lost to the Nets, who just got beat by the Celtics by 50 last week. That's pathetic. And in some ways, y'all need to learn that lesson to not taunt people. If you pissed off Mikal Bridges enough that he's going to go off on you and kick your ass. Well, thank God that shit didn't happen that way. But yeah, you're poking the bear, you might get in trouble. The bear might bite your head off, and don't do that. It's unnecessary. Is partly what I'm saying. It's unnecessary. Let's see. Mo's saying also, what a great win for Darko on his birthday. Was smiling ear to ear when I left the arena. Great meeting Nameless. Still can't believe it. This is the crazy thing. Last night, Monique's at the game, and guess who came up to him and said, hello, buongiorno. My paisano, my Italian teacher, Nameless, was at the game last night, and he ran across Monique, and they had a little meeting and saw each other. And Mo said that Nameless was a really nice person, and that it was really great to meet Nameless at the game last night. In some ways, this mystery is deepening with Monique meeting Nameless in person. I wonder what he looks like. I really do. Mo knows now because Mo's met Nameless. And if Nameless, if you are here today, I'd love to hear your side of the meeting encounter with the superfan Monique Lawrence also. But very cool. Raptor Freak family meeting up at the game last night. Nameless getting in touch with superfan Monique. Trevor J's here. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy game day. Love the win last night. We need this one tonight. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, we need this one, Commissioner J, because Atlanta is in between us and the play-in. And, honestly, they're reeling a little bit. In some ways, I'd like them to be lackadaisical from the All-Star weekend when we come out there gangbusters and kick their ass right from the start. In some ways, we were beating the Nets pretty good for the whole game. They had a 1-point lead at one point in the second half and the third. When they came back in that third quarter, when things were really bad, that was a period of time where Gary Trent wasn't working exactly right on defense, and Darko had to bench him because the Nets went on a run immediately after halftime. We were flat, and they ate up our lead. And they took Darko out, and they put Grady in. And Grady kind of helped on defense with energy, and it's changed things around. And we got things back going the right way. Darko told Gary on the bench, you need to refocus and get your head back in the game correctly. This was really made light of a lot in the post-game press conferences between the interviews with Darko and Gary. Darko explained what happened, and Gary explained what happened, and their stories match up exactly. Coach benched me for a second because he said he wanted me to refocus, and I did that. The press, of course, in the press room, always trying to pick this kind of shit apart and make some sort of bullshit waves. And Gary's very professional about it. It's like they're trying to get at him. It's like, well, why did Coach bench you? Why did he take you out? And he's like, well, I wasn't playing exactly right. And it's I'm glad the coach benched me because it's like that's what he does. He gets us right. He's like, Gary's the ultimate professional. And if y'all were trying to get him mad or something like that, some people are looking at it as like Darko's throwing people on the bus like Nick Nurse would in interviews. Not really. Darko's on the record or saying, I'm with my guys. I don't want to like do that to them in media. If I have a problem with them, I'll tell them to their face in the game. And I don't need to do it through the media. That's something he's very much on the record for saying. Well, he kind of did it last night, but the only reason why he did it that way was because it was very apparent in the third quarter that he benched Gary for a second. It's because things weren't exactly right coming out of a halftime. And I mean, that's just so apparent. They're going to ask, and well, they're going to take care of it. And well, they took care of it professionally, both of them. Gary, you're awesome. And listen, you had such a weird game, man. You were really, really good the whole first half. Did not miss a shot nowhere, not even at the free throw line, or perfect 4 for 4, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 3 for 3 at the 3-point line. Amazing. But then you immediately come out the beginning of the second half and miss your first shot and really stink the bed on defense, have to get refocused. But then you come back later at the end of the game and, kick some butt and make a bunch of shots then. The pure simple truth of the Raptors right now is when Gary Trent Jr. has a good game, we win. You can look at every single win we've had since it's been 2024, and Gary has had a good game in each one of them. And so in some ways, I'm starting to see a thing where it may be that Gary Trent Jr. is essential for us to win in the NBA right now. He has to have a good game. He has to score like 20. He has to be making his shots, and the Raptors win. Because every single game recently that he's played well, we've won. So he is such an important, like this was this way last year too. Nick would always say this. He'd say, when Gary plays really big, we have the best chance to win. And I'm seeing it still true right now. When Gary steps up, we win. And that's important. We need you to play well, Gary. We need you to make your shots. In some ways, some of the stuff Gary was doing last night was like Gary last year. We saw a couple step back shots. We saw some little things in the mid-range that he was doing more last year. He was a little bit more aggressive in looking for his shot last night, both him and Quickly. And that was really, really good. That was really, really good. Both of them. We want them to have the green light and confidence to make their shots. And that'll be good. Yeah. Yeah, let's get this one tonight, Trevor. I'm all about it. Let's see. Trevor's saying post-game interview, Brooklyn head coach said he said IQ broke down their defense, and that's the difference, and they had no answer for him. The Raptors to have 46 fast break points. Yeah. IQ was fantastic. He was really, really good. He was aggressive. He was penetrative. He was shooting more himself, which was good. There were a couple times where I thought he should have shot that he didn't still, even though he shot so much. I thought he was great. He was hitting threes. I love that fast break play with Bruce Brown, who made room in the space and hit him in the corner. I love the one where RJ was in transition and he was moving, and he knows that Emmanuel White's it very tight right in the corner there. So he threw it right to him and he moved over and hit that shot real easy. There's a lot of good finding each other, a lot of good passing, some fantastic passing by Scott and different people. Fantastic stuff. All right, let me do the stars. I might as well do them right now. My number one star of the game last night is going to be Gary Trent. Gary Trent had such ups and downs. In some ways, I can't fault him for getting benched for that split second and having one little bad stint in the middle there. And I think Darko handled it really well. In some ways, Nick may have left Gary out there playing really shitty, and we would have shit the bed for the whole third quarter. Instead of doing damage control like Darko did last night, 3 minutes in, putting Grady in, that was ballsy. It totally worked. This is evidence that our coach is good. And then, last year, Nick Nurse might have said, figure it out, work through it, Gary, and find your way back to your shot, and just left them out there, and they play shitty defense, and they get their asses beat the whole third quarter. Instead, Darko's doing damage control right away with his quick timeout, quick substitution, and it really pays off because by the end of the third quarter, the Raptors still have their 11-point lead. They get it back in the last part of the third quarter. That was really smart by Darko. And even if Gary had to sit out for a second there and get refocused, it was really good for him because he did get refocused. 9 of 12 from the field. That is what I'm talking about, Gary. 9 of 12. Gary Trent Jr. shooting like Scotty would. 9 of 12. 5 of 7 from the three. Perfect at the line, 2 for 2. 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 turnovers, a plus 24 with 25 points in 31 minutes. Gary Trent Jr., you are the number one star of the game to me. The second star is Emmanuel Quickly. He also shot very well. 8 of 16, 50%. 5 of 8 from 3. 3 of 3 at the free throw line. 6 rebounds for Quick. 3 assists, 3 steals, a plus 32, 24 points in 33 minutes. So both these guys got 5 threes. They were 10 of 15 from the free throw 3-point line. That is fantastic shooting. Fantastic shooting. 10 of 15 from 3 between our backcourt. I'll take it. I'll take it every single night. Good job, gentlemen. So, yeah, very proud of Emmanuel and Gary with the games they had last night. My third star is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes was really good last night. In fact, you know what we saw from Scotty last night? We kind of saw the hybrid of him being more a power forward player on the court because he was very much oriented around a double-double and not really going for the triple-double last night. It's not like Scotty was overly passing last night. He was very aggressive in taking the shots himself, and he was very aggressive on the rebounds. We saw Scotty doing things like second effort around the basket. If he didn't make the shot through the contact originally, well, he made sure to get his offensive rebound and get a second chance. And he was doing a really good job. In some ways, Scotty, one of the things that Scotty's going to do as he matures and gets older as a player is that he's going to find out that he has a lot of weight to throw around. The signs are there that in some ways he can be a dominant player like Shaq as far as just strength and speed and getting to places and grabbing it. It's all effort. It's all desire. And as he figures out just how powerful he is, he will exert it more and more to help us win. And we saw him doing a little bit more of the 4 or 5 kind of work last night. It wasn't so oriented around the point guard kind of stuff. He was very much playing front court last night, and it was fantastic. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers, plus 17 in 31 minutes with 18 points, 7 of 13 from the field. I like a lot of what Scotty was doing last night. Once again, we see really good chemistry between him and RJ Barrett. And just really smart, like measured stuff that he's doing out there. In some ways, I love what Scott did right off the bat in the game. He set a tone. In some ways, we were wondering, is he going to have an all-star bump because of being at the all-star game and good stuff? He does the block on Simmons, and then he immediately proceeds to take the ball down the other end of the court and score the first basket in the game, like very powerfully, very like I'm taking control, I'm going to dominate kind of thing. I love that from Scott. I love that energy. I feel like I said, as he gets more savvy, more vet, more time, he is going to throw his weight around in this league in ways that people are going to be like, holy shit, I didn't know that Scotty had a little Shaq in him. There's Shaq. There's Shaq in Scotty. There's Shaq, is what I'm saying to y'all. Seriously, it's really weird. My 4-star of the game is Grady Dick. Grady Dick came in off the bench, and like I said, he saved us in the third quarter with his energy and defense. 7 points in 17 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field. I love the 50% shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. 4 rebounds, plus 15. Grady had some very timely hustle rebounds. I love this one section of the game where Kelly Olynyk does a really scrappy play and knocks the ball loose, and it's kind of like really smart. And then Grady hits the floor going after the ball too. They weren't totally successful getting the ball. The Nets recovered, but just seeing that desire and hustle and the willingness to get down on the floor at any given second to go after the ball by Grady Dick is so awesome. It's so awesome. Yeah, I really like Grady a lot. In fact, I'm starting to understand just how good he could be for us. If he really gets to be a very good sound defender, it'll be awesome. They were asking Emmanuel after the game about Grady's defense and how it's improved over the season. And the reporter's so dumb. He's like answering his own question. He's like, I want to ask you, how's Grady's defense been? He's like, well, that's a very specific question. Like, why are you asking me that? Like, I'm like, well, I guess it was good. That's what Emmanuel said. And then the guy's like, I think it's Zatzman, Louis Zatzman, idiot. He's kind of like, oh, wait, you haven't been here all season. So why would you know how his defense has gotten better? It's like, yeah, you dumbass. Maybe think about your questions before you ask them. That's one of the things that, reporters are supposed to do is you're kind of supposed to think up through your questions. And that way you don't ask somebody like Luka Doncic what it's like being from Serbia. Dumbasses that ask stupid questions in the media scrum. So what I'm saying is basically Grady Dick's defense has gotten better this season. And in some ways, we saw it as something that was a very much a weakness at the beginning of the year. Guys were going at him, testing him. They were like, oh, we're going to punk this little rookie from Kansas. Yeah, we're going to mess him up. And he's kind of like now holding his weight, and he's not really like a weak link that the other teams are trying to go at like they were at the very beginning of the season. In some ways, he's a capable defender, and we don't have to worry about him as much. In some ways, like I said, I'd love to see him become like a 6'9" Alex Caruso that can shoot threes like crazy. Also, that the promise of that kind of a player, Grady Dick becoming, is fantastic. It would be great to see. So yeah, he's my 4th star, and my 5th star is going to be DJ Carton. DJ Carton came in for his first NBA minutes and score ever. Fantastic stuff. We're getting these rites of passage for these young Raptors coming in, like Mogi and Marquise Noel, Javon Freeman Liberty, all these guys getting their first NBA points this year. Well, I have to say DJ Carton did the most impressive first NBA points. Mogi got really trashy putback layup with no defense on him. Marquise got his first points at the free throw line. Well, and I believe Javon Freeman Liberty had a layup also. This guy had a really awesome shot that was covered very well by the Nets defensively, and he made a circus shot, and it was a 3-point play. And he made the free throw too. So DJ Carton, you're my 5th star of the game, coming in your NBA debut of your 10-day and looking real good, honestly. And just a brief end of the game kind of stint. DJ Carton looked really good. Welcome to the NBA. You got 3 points in the NBA, my man. So yeah, honorable mention to Kelly Olynyk and Jakob Poeltl. Both of them were like scrappy and big and doing big things around the basket. They were really good for rebounds and blocks and stuff and just scrappiness. But honorable mention to those guys for sure. But yeah, those are my stars of the game for last night. Trent Jr., Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick, and DJ Carton. DJ Carton. Such an interesting name, Carton. Yeah, I like it. It's cool. Let's see. David's here. Good to see David Saborin. He's saying specifically to Cool Cat, nice game by Austin Reeves last night. Too bad he was on your bench. Well, listen, she just hasn't taken to doing the fantasy and getting her team set up. In some ways, David, this has been the way this has been all year. In some ways, we can't control other people. David, we got to understand what we can and cannot control in this world. And that will be the easiest way to suss out whether you should be unhappy about it or not. I can't control whether Cool Cat's going to manage her fantasy team, and you can't either. So in some ways, just get over it. That's what I have to say. I mean, honestly, you have a bye week then. You get a bye week this week if you're playing Cool Cat. It's just the way it is. And, well, enjoy it. How about that? You get another win this week, so don't be upset. David saying, P.S., you'd be beating me this week if you actually played guys when they were playing. Well, that's the part of it, David. In some ways, she has a team, and in some ways, it's just not something she's got time to do. We have no idea why Cool Cat is not managing her fantasy basketball team. We have no idea. There could be a very good reason why. So let's not assume anything, and let's just let things be the way they are. In some ways, it's like, look, gamemanship. I know you want the best competition against you, but in some ways, just take it. If people are neglecting things, when things happen and they don't win. And that's just how it goes. Yeah. Sorry, David. It's just how it is, man. Maybe next year we'll do relegation. Maybe next year we'll have teams that very much are going to be active for sure. I don't know how I get that commitment from the managers that they will do it. But, I'll take into account your gripes about our fantasy basketball league and try and improve them for next season. I don't know there's a magical answer for this, but maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll figure something out. Trevor J saying happiness is the only thing that matters when it's multiplying. You share it. I love that. I love that. Abundance mindset is so important. In some ways, this is the miserable fucks in this world that have scarcity mindset, and they only think there's so much. And sometimes it's crazy. The most richest people in the world have scarcity mindset when they should have abundance mindset. An abundance mindset is never lacking, is never wanting, always has everything they need. And sometimes the poorest people in the world have the best abundance mindset. They have everything they need in their life and they're good. And sometimes the richest people in the world have a scarcity mindset. They don't have enough in their life. That's crazy how that works. It's almost like it doesn't matter about things, money, or possessions, or any of that kind of stuff. It has to do with inside and how you feel and what you're doing in your life, and whether, it doesn't matter what it is. If you find happiness and you're secure and you're feeling good in your life, you're healthy and you're happy, you could be way more happier than a billionaire and you have nothing in your life. That's the thing. Abundance is a mindset. If you want to have a scarcity mindset, you don't think there's enough happiness in the world, you got to be a Scrooge McDuck. Well, people that are giving happiness and love to each other, they're getting it right back. And it's abundance. It just multiplies. That's right. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom this morning, my man. I hope you're traveling safe wherever you're traveling right now. I know you're always traveling. David's saying, Raptor Freak stream, 3 hours, moving fantasy lineup, 3 seconds. Is doable, people. It's doable. Listen, David, in some ways, this is not good content for this channel. In some ways, I get your gripe. We can talk about this privately, and it doesn't have to be done on here. In some ways, I understand this has bugged you all season. Well, let's just be grateful that there's like 7 teams in this league that are really good and you have good competition. In fact, in our fantasy league right now, there's only 8 playoff spots, and we've already filled 6 of the playoff spots, I believe 5 of the playoff spots. So there's only 3 playoff spots left for the rest of them to try and get. And the teams that have playoff spots already are Country Kong, the Dick Picks, Duke Rocks, the champion from last year, the Saborin brothers, and myself. So the 5 of us are in the playoffs, and there's only 3 spots left for Meredith and the rest of them to fight and scrap and try and get those last spots. Raymond Jacob, Naco the Nacho has an outside shot possibly. We'll just have to see how it all goes down. But either way, hey, you've got competition, and maybe this season isn't the real season. The postseason will be when you're in there with the teams like me and your brother. So, yeah, let's just be thankful and grateful. In some ways, it's a scarcity mindset you're thinking from, David. Let's think about abundance of just having fun. How about that? Yeah, let's see. I know it drives you bonkers, man, but this is your own mind putting your mindset on how people should do it. This is exactly why Michael Jordan can't coach. Is because, yeah, he would do it a whole different way than the Washington Wizards would have done it. And they frustrate the hell out of him because they're not taking it seriously or doing everything they could possible to win. Well, this is exactly how you feel right now, David. You're like the Michael Jordan of fantasy sports, and you're seeing people that aren't taking full advantage of their advantages or what they can do. You get upset. Yeah, it's Michael. You're just like Mike. If you could be like Mike, you are being like Mike. That's what I'm saying right now. That's right. Yeah. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Let's fucking go to Atlanta and beat the Hawks. Carl, go to the game with the kids and go say hi to the Raptors. Get Harry to wear his Scotty Barnes jersey and his big oversized Raptors hat and go on down and watch the Hawks play the Raptors on a Friday night in Hotlanta. Yeah. Yeah, tonight, whoa, it's gonna be all right. Tonight, whoa, the Raptors got some money in their pocket. They're gonna ready to burn. I don't remember where they got it. I gotta get it to you. All right, some Phil Collins on Friday. All right, let's see. Monique saying, happy game day. Let's beat the Hawks as well. Let's go to Atlanta. Yes. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Happy Friday and game day. Convincing win yesterday. I would say, yeah, it was pretty good. Even when they got close, I was not fazed. I knew we had it. I just wish Gary Trent stays consistent because he's a bucket. Fire. I agree. He's such a king, such a linchpin, such an important part of our team. When he succeeds, we succeed. So, Gary, succeed, please. Please succeed. Come out and be that Gary that's on fire, making all your shots, doing the good things, and we will be winning more. In some ways, we got to look for him better. This is something that Darko's saying is like guys like Emmanuel and Gary need to be found better and unlocked better. And given it, like the one thing with you, Gary, is I understand you shoot better when you have pressure. This is part of the problem this year. Is like Gary's wide open, he misses the shot. But if there's a guy running at him and he has his hand right in his face, he makes it. It's weird. He was like this last year too. In some ways, it's like, man, don't shoot the open shots. In some ways, I get it. Maybe you got to be like DeMar and go in there and get contact and get right in their face to compete and beat them. And then you'll have the gumption to make the shot for sure. I don't know. It's a weird thing with Gary. And you are exactly right, Fiercey. We could get more consistency from Gary night in, night out. Regular line from him. Oh, man, let's go. Let's win a lot. That's what I'm saying. Y'all with your 27-0. That could happen. Fiercey saying IQ is more and more comfortable. It's getting there. RJ is fearless and draws fouls. Just needs to focus at the free throw line. Those blocks by Yak. Fire, fire, fire. Yes. All right. Let me break this down. IQ is getting more comfortable. I think that this break was fantastic for him. It seemed like he's just really like centered and grounded in the right way and oriented now as a Raptor. The whirlwind of trade and being on the road with the Knicks and then being on the road with the Raptors and everything, getting a couple days to settle down, getting a couple days to orient himself in Toronto, getting a couple days to go see his family, getting a couple days to go work out at University of Miami. It really got him back squarely on his feet. And going in the right direction coming back. We're just scratching the surface of quickly running for us as a guard, and it's going to be fantastic. If we can get any kind of a development line like Maxey for the Sixers with quickly, ooh, look out, look out. I would love that kind of future, and it looks like that's what Emmanuel wants too. Oh, yeah, it does seem like that. In fact, I'm really pleased with his attitude and the way he's feeling about being on the Raptors right now. He may have been a little shell-shocked from the move and the ramifications and the reverberations after it happened. But everything's settled, it seems like. And Emmanuel's quite comfortable with the new idea of what his future is looking like going forward with the Toronto Raptors. I like that. I like that a lot. And I like it so much. RJ is driving me nuts at the free throw line. I'm not going to lie. I love so many things about what RJ Barrett does. But, man, that free throw line is pissing me off. I'm telling you right now, RJ last night, not the best game. That's why he wasn't one of my 5 stars. 29 minutes, 12 points, a plus 29, 5 of 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, but 0 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 turnovers. You know, the one thing we can say about RJ is he had his season high for assists, 7 assists. That's fantastic. In some ways, RJ was playing the role of Scotty point guard. It's this really interesting thing. And what IQ said after the game in his interview was the term point guard is dead. That's what he said. It was like they were talking to him. He's like, yeah, point guard is not really a good term anymore for what we're doing. And I get what he's saying because in some ways it's like RJ, Scotty, Jakob, Kelly, Grady, IQ, they're all really good passers. It's almost like as much as we were doing long arm monsters, positionless basketball, we're doing a new thing called point guard, all point guard basketball. like all point basketball, meaning like every single person on the court could be like a very good passer to the other person at any given time. That is not a designated point guard anymore. Emmanuel is just not a point guard. He's a hybrid guard, and he may be leaning towards more of a shooting guard, but that's only because Jakob, Scotty, RJ, Kelly, Grady, they're all good passers. And I think that that's the cool thing about this new change with the Raptors in the last 2 months is we've made our team a really good passing team more than it was before. I think this is just the damn truth. Siakam was a really good passer. I'll give him that, but OG wasn't. Precious wasn't the best passer either. But we've gotten better passers in the deals that we've done recently. So I like this whole idea is like we don't have a point guard. We're all point guard. It's weird. It's weird. RJ being the point guard last night, getting his 7 assists. Really, really interesting. Jakob's blocks are awesome. In some ways, it's like Scotty has something happen at one end of the court. He like stops. He makes a basket, and then they get the other end. And they're trying to run back and get a score real quick. And Jakob is there protecting the rim, and he blocks the shit out of the nets to save the basket. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Jakob's so smart. And it's kind of weird seeing him with this addition of the Raptors because he's been in such weird places. Like he was with them when he was a rookie, and you think about the team he was on then and the history of that. And then he came back and he was with his guys again, Fred, Pascal, and OG, but now they're gone. And now he's the bench mob guy from way back bench mob that's on the team still. So in some ways, Jakob's in a weird place, but I think he's really enjoying the challenge of helping the Raptors ascend and come up and being better in the next couple of years. I think that Jakob is very happy. He may have been a little sheepish and weird about this whole season and the ups and downs, but I think he understands the vision and he's bought in, and he's just loving the fact that the Raptors will come out on the court and they'll give a good chance to compete and win every single night, hopefully, going forward. I mean, whether they're capable or experienced or gelling enough to beat the other team on the other side is something. But the work in progress of working towards getting better and better every night, whether it's win or loss, they're learning from last night too. They're going to get better and better and hopefully have better and better, more wins. Yeah, I got to get my quota in and say that word. Fiercey's also saying, I couldn't watch the pregame show. How was it? I remember Larry Nance dancing last year when we played against the Pelicans. The pregame show? You mean like with the entertainment and the music? This the halftime show that I watched, and it was awesome. This dude was big up in Toronto Raptors over and over again. He's like, big up Toronto Raptors. And he kept saying it. And I was like, yeah, that's my dude. That's my dude. Every time he said it, I was like that guy on Coming to America, the barber, who's always like, yeah, it's my guy. That's my guy. You know what I'm talking about, that one character Eddie Murphy dressed up as. Yeah, I was like doing that every time the guy was singing during halftime. I was like, big up to the Raptors, Toronto Raptors, Toronto. He kept saying it. And I was like, yes, that's my guy. Yes, that guy can sing. He can sing. That's what I was doing. I was like, yeah, it's awesome. But no, the vibes were awesome. And once again, that food was hilarious with the announce crew. And just in general, it's just a good vibe. Literally, vibes. Island vibes are good vibes. And it just makes sense. It's like add to water, and boom, you get the dinosaur and the lapel. It's the same thing. You're going to put a Caribbean Heritage Night, Island vibes in the Scotiabank Arena. You're going to get good vibes. It's mandatory. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. It's pretty cool, too. All right, let's see. Let's keep going with the comments. It's going to be a little bit of a Lexathon today. We're going to do our best. I'm going to head out east after this. Let's see. Evelyn saying happy birthday to Coach Darko. Hello, TGIF to Granny Swag. Always good to see you, Evelyn. Nako saying, I think I like IQ more as a shooting guard. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a hybrid. In some ways, we do really want to get him really in touch with the other guys as far as passing acumen and where they like to have the ball. The most work he's done so far, obviously, has body work with RJ from before, but the connection that he has really good right now is Pirtle. And they made a concerted effort to do this right off the bat. Like as immediately as Quickly came in, they got him to go talk to Pirtle a lot and really get on the same page. And some of the two-man game with Pirtle and Quickly is pretty good so far, partly because of the very concerted effort to develop that connection right away as soon as Emmanuel came to our team. So he's got about 2 months of working with Pirtle. Well, Pirtle was hurt for part of it, though. You're seeing better stuff between them. But I agree with you, Nako. I think in some ways that Maxey and Quickly are very similar players. And if you see the way Maxey is as a point guard, He's kind of a shooting guard. I mean, he's taking most of the shots, and he's the highest scorer on their team without Embiid out there. Of course, the Sixers losing to the Knicks last night in the home debut of Kyle Lowry as a Sixer, getting a rousing ovation from the Sixers crowd. It's weird, man. In some ways, I'm very happy for them. The Sixers got their ass beat by the Knicks. You go, Milbester. And yeah, it was interesting. The Villanova guys, the young guys, and the old Villanova guy playing each other last night. Kyle in the brotherly love jersey. It looked so cool. And it was very weird and surreal to see the Philadelphia crowd giving a standing ovation to Kyle coming in the game with the history that Kyle has with their city. We know he's the greatest Raptor of all time, Sixers Nation. You may have him as your native son, but listen, the history here, we know he will come and sign with us after y'all, no matter what. Watch. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. Just for one day, because he's going to be a hero, a Raptor hero. That's right. Just for one day. All right, let's see. Trevor Sandenis was speaking to reporters before the game, and he said the coach, Kevin Ollie, told everyone if they're not going to be doing what he expects of them to do, he's not going to play them. And I love that. The Nets have an effort problem for sure. They were one of the worst teams right now in transition defense, and we ate them up in this. In fact, that was one of the keys to the win last night was how poorly the Nets get back on defense. We really, really kicked their ass on that. We out-rebounded them. I mean, let's go look at the team stats real quick. I'm not going to really break down why the Nets are so shitty. Seriously. All right, we shot really well last night. In fact, we shot poorly near the end. We were shooting scorching by halftime. We were shooting like 57% from three. We calmed down to 45% from three by the end. Made 14 threes to their 11. They shot 30% from three. That's a big difference. 49% from the field overall for the Raptors, and they were 41%. We got 4 more shots on goal. The free throws cleaned up by the end of the game. We were not shooting good free throws at halftime, but they made most of them in the second half for 83% free throws. 25 made free throws. There's a 9+9 at the free throw line for the Raptors. They didn't get to the line as much. They weren't as aggressive. And they also didn't get as much respect. The Raptors really did out-rebound the Nets by 6, 45-39. We got 24 assists, so we were just one shy of our 25 mark that we always like to get. The stocks were nice, 16-9 for the Raptors with 10 steals last night. Very good. Turnovers were interesting. And this is one of the ways we separated from them. At the halftime, both teams had 5 turnovers. Both teams were doing so good taking care of the ball, but we busted that shit open in the second half. And we ended up with only 11 turnovers, but they ended up with 20. So they committed 15 turnovers in the second half. And that was when we went on that route and separated ourselves from them, even getting to almost like 30 points above them. It's crazy. We had a 34-point lead at one point, and that is awesome. Points in the paint, +10 for the Raptors, 50-40. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff in the team stats. They didn't take care of the ball very well. They weren't connected. In some ways, that team's just not very talented, and they deserve to lose. This is the NBA. Teams are stacked. They have very good players, and the Nets just don't have the talent to compete. In some ways, them firing their coaches over and over again is stupid. That's not why y'all are losing. Sean Marks at the game, former Raptor, the GM of the Nets, sitting in the crowd looking really pissed off and upset that his team is still really bad. Well, listen, firing Jacques Vaughn was probably not the right move. I don't know if Kevin Ollie is actually a good head coach. He may be a fantastic assistant coach. This is what some people are trying to say about Darko. Idiots. And they're not right. Jacques Vaughn was doing a good job. It's just what was he dealing with, y'all? And I think that the Nets are a really good cautionary tale for Raptors fans to understand. Getting rid of your coach too quickly is stupid. In some ways, I disagree with them firing Jacques Vaughn. I understand it's a knee-jerk reaction to the Celtics beating them by 50 last week, but it's stupid. In some ways, you may have made your season even worse. Maybe they're just like, Jacques Vaughn was already a glorified interim coach since Steve Nash, and we just let him ride, and now we've gotten to the end where we want to let him ride, and we're ready to invest in a new coach this summer, a big-time coach as far as a name, and Ollie's just going to finish the season out, and that Vaughn's gone. Either way, the Nets are done for the rest of the season. In fact, we're going to play them 2 more times before the end of the season, and we need to beat their ass both times and win the series 3-1 by the end of the year. That's what I'm all about right there. Yeah. Kevin Ollie, if you're holding a standard for the Nets that they need to stand and play hard or they're not going to play, good for you. Every coach should be like this. This should be everybody. I don't understand why this is special. Dennis, most of the coaches you've had have probably said this. Fiercely saying, okay, no, not to be mean, but the Nets are a mess and in a wrong place for now. The camera went on their GM. He looked unimpressed. Ben Simmons, only 2 points in 20 minutes. Why is he afraid to drive? It's funny. When I saw that Ben Simmons was going to play last night, I was like, is this the first time the Raptors have played against Ben Simmons since we played Philly in the championship run? Like, I was trying to figure that out. It seems like he's been so MIA for the last 5 years. I was like, when's the last time we played Ben Simmons? This may be like the first time we played him in a long time. I can't even remember. That's how much Where's Waldo he is. That dude is such a loser. Like, it's almost like he did that little cheap trick with Kevin Cutler at the beginning of the game off the jump ball, and Scotty blocked him, and then he was done for the night. It's like Scotty defeated him in the first 5 seconds of the game by blocking the shit out of his shot. It's like if Ben Simmons had made that layup, that cheap, quick layup that the refs tried to set the Nets up with right at the beginning of if he had made that, maybe his game would have been better. He maybe had blown up for the game because he got off the right foot. No, he missed. He got blocked. He got humiliated, and then he kind of just went into the woodwork like Homer. Yeah, hilarious. I've been saying this since he came into the league. He's fool's gold. He's not a real superstar. He's a appointed, anointed golden boy by the NBA. They wanted to make him a big deal, so they propped him up. They pushed him on us, and he's been an utter failure. And honestly, he's never been as good as they thought. They see his athletic gifts, and they're like, "Oh, this guy should be so good. He should be so good." Yeah, he should be. But it's not just your physicalness; it's your mentalness. It's whether you have drive. It's whether you're serious. These things matter too. And honestly, NBA, you got to stop anointing golden boys because of who you think you want as your golden boys. Whether it's Jason Tatum, whether it's Austin Reeves, whether it's whoever the fuck it is. These people need to get the status by doing things and achieving, and they'll get it naturally. When you try and tell us ahead of time that, oh, Ben Simmons is the next big thing, he's going to be the best, and he doesn't do it, well, we see the mechanism of how y'all really do try to generate and manufacture your superstars that you want to promote and put in the limelight in the front and center of the NBA. And when you pick people that are shitty for it, and you try and cram them down our throats, we're like, yeah, this is a media machine. You're not doing this on merit. You're not doing this on achievement. You're not doing this because this guy is dropping great stats like Scotty Barnes. No, you're doing it because you have decided, or maybe ad people have decided, this person is the person we want to market as a face of the NBA. Ben Simmons. He's a no lose. He can't lose. He's going to be so good. Look at him, how good he is from Australia. Motherfuckers, look at him. Yeah. And I was like, nah, this dude's a poser. He's not for real. I saw it immediately because I could tell from body language. I could tell from the way he carried himself that he's soft, that he's not really in this league for the right reasons, and that he's a dumb person for them to market. And well, he's become a huge embarrassment for the league. Whether it's him sitting out for seasons, a whole circus around him, them pushing him so hard. Yeah. And I love what they said in the broadcast last night. Jack and Matt are saying, yeah, his big contract's going to be up. Well, we're going to have to see what happens on his next contract when it comes up. He may be in shock to see how much he's going to have the sticker price fall. His price, what a team's going to be willing to pay him for what he does now and who he is way different than the huge amount of money he's making right now. In some ways, Jack and Matt were alluding, well, we'll see how much he cares about the NBA when he's not getting the pay he's getting now. He might just leave because he's not going to make as much. That could happen. I could see a cheesy guy like him being like that. It's like, oh, you're only going to pay me $5 million a year? Well, I'm retiring. I could see that kind of cheesy shit. And then you'll look at Ben Simmons' NBA career and you'll be like, what a joke. What a fucking joke. Seriously. So weird, man. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Chris is saying, holy wow, last night looked very complete, fluid, and seemed we have a complete team that works. As for tonight, off the All-Star break, fatigue shouldn't matter as much. Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to totally agree with you, Chris. I don't think we're complete, and I don't think we're totally complete and it works. No, I think that we played a really bad team and we kicked some butt. But if we play good teams, in some ways, the way we played last night is not going to work. There's a lot more to it than just saying, yeah, we look good. We were playing the Nets and they suck. This tonight will be a good test. And we'll have to see if we can play a complete game tonight and look really good as a team overall. But I love what Darko said of the game. We win this game last night. I'm going to watch the hell out of this film and we're going to learn a lot. Both him and Quickly saying that you learn from the wins and the losses. And like they're not happy with how they played totally last night. That there's a lot that they can improve. And that's the stuff we want to hear from the players and the coaches, because the improvement and the drive to win better and win more in the future is driven by analyzing everything. Even in the wins where you feel good, there's a lot that they could have cleaned up last night. Trust me. There is a lot. A lot. G saying 1-0 in the DJ Carton era. That's right. That's my DJ. Yeah, last night a DJ saved my life. Let's see. Cowboys saying Carton wearing the 3. Yeah, he's got the OG number. That's how you know OG's not going to get his number retired. There's a lot more debate about the stuff with Vince Carter. It's really getting roused up. Everybody's getting opinions about the 15 maybe getting retired, all kinds of different things. There's a lot of people that are espousing their opinions about Vince Carter should get his jersey retired that aren't Raptors fans. I think the common consensus of a non-Raptor fan, NBA fan says, yeah, you should just have it retired. But they don't really understand our history or what's gone on here and why real Raptor fans, people that actually root for the team like us, are kind of about it. They all just say, well, what are you talking about? Vince Carter should have his jersey retired. Raptors are nothing without him. That's just like the blanket common NBA fan is putting this out there. And then it's funny. You go and see these posts on Bleacher Report and stuff like that, and you'll see all the common NBA fans saying, of course he should have his jersey retired in Toronto. And then you see all the Toronto fans saying, no. See, that's something right there. Y'all don't decide NBA. The NBA franchise, the Raptors do. And if the Raptors franchise listen to their fans, they're probably not going to do it. They're probably not going to do it. I've seen a lot of people echoing some of the things that I'm saying. It's like, let's take care of the moment. Put the statue out there. And, you give a jersey retirement to somebody who like has a long storied history with your team and like really matters. It's iconic. The number with your franchise, like a 7, like a 23, like a 43. And in some ways, like the other level of things somebody suggested was a Ring of Honor. It's kind of like the Jays have their Ring of Honor at Skydome. Maybe they just do a Ring of Honor, but they don't retire his jersey. In some ways, it's the numbers thing. You don't want to retire too many numbers because then you become like the Celtics and there's no fucking numbers available. But yeah, it's an interesting thing there. G saying the backcourt scoring and having more defined roles was a difference maker, in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like that was good. That was good. I feel like that he oriented them really well coming out of the All-Star break. He once again characterized the practices the last couple of days as training camp kind of practices. He feels like in some ways he got a chance to implement a couple more things defensively with the guys in the last 2 days. And maybe that's what we saw. Darko saying that in the press conference after the game. Well, this is going to be fun. When we go to the coach's open house next month, we'll get to see how Darko works his practice and maybe how he derives good outcomes quickly from game to game just because of adjustments or how he works with people in practice. Coach's open house, March 19th at 9 a.m. till about 1:30 p.m. We're going. If you want to come, register. It's free. And you can come sit with David and I and Adriana, and we'll watch the coaches of the Raptors and a practice, closed door practice. No photography, no filming, nothing. You can't go down there and collect a bunch of pictures of you with Raptors. No, you cannot. They don't want anybody bringing any kind of camera or video or nothing. It's very, very secretive, closed practice that you can be privileged enough to go to. So if you're a Raptor freak and you're interested in going March the 19th, you can get that day off. It's a Tuesday. And it's basically like Coach's College taught by the Raptors. It's awesome. So awesome. Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's see. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. I broke my finger yesterday. Oh, well, let's go Raptors. I wonder which finger. Were you using that salute a little too hard yesterday, Dana? A little too hard? She's got her 2-finger salute she likes to give people. And maybe it's like she's on the DL for that at this point. I don't know. Which finger was it? Chris is saying, Carton looks bouncy out there. Also signed up for that coaching day. Awesome. Chris, you're going to be there. Awesome. We'll definitely sit together. It does seem rather interesting, but have to get up fucking early to get on time. Laugh out loud. Well, it says the doors open at 8:15. Now, I will say this. If there's a lineup and people are coming in there and they only have a certain amount of the things that they give to people, well, that's part of the reason why you want to get there early. If you really want that coach's clipboard that's on the wall behind me and some of the other stuff that they give, you want to get there early and line up. But if you don't care about that, and you can saunter in just before 5 minutes before 9 if you want. But yeah, it is a very early event. And for early risers like me, ain't no big deal. But some people would be like, wow, getting all the way down there and that early in the morning. Well, that's part of how they weed out the people who really want to be there from the people that are kind of like, I'd love to go see the Raptors practice. And it's like, well, are you serious about it? Are you going to get up at 7 or 6 in the morning just to get down there in time? That's the question right there. That's the question right there. I hope you make it, Chris. We'll give you a wake up call if you want. Cowboy saying, is it from all those salutes, Dana? Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, Cowboy. You and I, great minds think alike. We think that she has a salute issue here. I'm going to give you a dunk and Dana a dunk also, because honestly, I was thinking the same damn thing. She hurt her finger because of all of her salutes. Chris is saying Dennis is a minus 30 out there. I missed the guy, but moving on rather fast. I'm going to tell you this right now. I feel like Dennis was helping us. I'm serious. In some ways, it was comical. He missed a free throw that looked really fishy. He had some really bad plays in some ways. In some ways, he just threw the ball out of bounds at one point. I don't know. In some ways, I feel bad for Dennis. Dennis is really he had a really interesting statement that he said. I posted in our Facebook group in the chat. And I want to just read it real quick because honestly, I think it really is telling about way Dennis looks at what happened here with the Raptors. And it's really, really important for us to hear it. Let me see. Where is it? Right here. All right. This is what Dennis said to Kayla Gray before the game last night about his reflections on his time spent in Toronto. He kept it honest. This is Dennis. He's saying, that's a tough one because, I came off a historic summer and was thinking about doing the same thing here in Toronto. Like he wanted to win a championship here. He said that when he came from the World Cup, he really did intend to try and help us win a championship. That's what he's trying to do. That wasn't really their intentions. It was a little different. But at the end of the day, I play in the best league in the world still, and I'm good to compete with the Toronto Raptors. Won a couple of games, lost a couple of games, close ones. But sorry that it didn't go the way we wanted it, or I wanted it. But that's part of the business, and you just got to accept it and move on. That's what Dennis said specifically to Kayla Gray about being on the Raptors. This is not what he wanted, y'all. In some ways, it's good for him in some ways, but it's not. It's just annoying. In some ways, we had ideas about what this year would be, and everything went to shit. And if the team had been successful this year, Dennis would still be on it. Honestly, if we were a winning team this year, he'd be on our team right now, and probably Siakam would be too. So it is what it is. I feel bad for Dennis. Let me look at his stat line real quick because it was pretty bad. No lie. No lie. Let me look at the Nets a little bit. We'll just look at them real quick. Mikal Bridges was awesome. 21 points, 7 of 16, 4 of 10 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Claxton got 10 rebounds. Claxton was really not playing like he normally does. He's usually more of a force and he's annoying, but he's very sheepish and not really playing like he does. In some ways, it's like Simmons is rubbing off on him to make him worse. I don't know what's going on there. Schroeder, 1 for 7, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, a minus 30. You're right. He was the worst plus minus for the Nets. Listen, if you are throwing us a solid, in some ways we could say this, it was Darko's birthday and Dennis is really close with Darko. I don't know. Is there certain things going on over there as far as like he was a double agent for us? In some ways, Dennis haters, can you get behind Dennis helping us win against the Brooklyn Nets from the inside? I would be all about that. Very interesting. Day'Ron Sharpe was tough off the bench, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers. But yeah, Day'Ron getting shit talk from Scotty at the end of the game. You could see it right they're like closing things out. Day'Ron's on the court, Scotty's on the bench, and he's yelling at Day'Ron right at the end of the game. Of course, they're close friends, best friends from high school. And it's not like they're mad at each other. It's just Scotty's getting his shit talking in with his old pal right at the end of the game. So I don't like this energy. But once again, I'll say if this is the energy that's going to fuel y'all to be successful and be badasses, all right, I'll get past the arrogance and the swagger and the kind of shit talking that you're doing a lot of. In some ways, it's like, man, you're writing a lot of checks. I just hope you can cash them. If you're going to write these checks, Scott, you better fucking cash them with wins, is what I'm saying. If you're going to be a shit talker around the league, seriously. Because in some ways, that's just a distraction, and it's not necessary, and it can hurt us, is what I'm saying. Holy crap. All right, let's see. Tristan's here. Good to see Tristan. Gary's playmaking and shot creation has hit a new level. Good to see. Ochai seems to play good defense. Scotty aggressive. RJ playing very zealously. Good overall pace. Good cohesive win. Yeah, I agree with you, Tristan, on all this. I think Gary's shot creation was back from last night. It was a little bit more creative. Not as much like catch and shoot. A little bit of dribble and sidestep. It was back last night, which was good to see. I agree. O'Shea, I'm not impressed with him. He's really bugging me. He came out and had a really bad turnover with Bruce Brown, where he's just flipping the ball over to him and it went out of bounds and it just looked really bad. In some ways, he's really annoying me. I'd rather like go look at other guys around the team like Justice, Winslow, than play Osh right now. I'm not really taking to him since he's come. He's not doing enough of the things that I need him to do to look good, and it's annoying. Darko saying before the game, Ochai Abaji needs to be more aggressive. That's his criticism of him. He kind of did a couple criticisms of different guys before the game. And he said, well, he needs to be more aggressive, is what he said. Scotty definitely aggressive last night. Seeing new levels of all-star Scotty aggressiveness that really are awesome. Let's see if he does it again tonight. Let's see if this is a consistent thing from Scott. Or are we going to get the disappearing Scotty from game to game? Or is he going to be this new energy now that he's a bona fide all-star? Let's see if that happens tonight, Scotty. Let's go out there and be the all-star that you are now. Yeah, RJ's interesting. RJ's so aggressive and good on the court, but his free throws, work on those. And yeah, I love his three-point shots. They're ugly. He has a really weird form, but man, RJ's awesome. He's so awesome. Yeah, let's see. Dana's saying, Cowboy, you aren't wrong. It is my middle finger. So she did hurt her middle finger. You've been using it too much, Dana, I think. Chris is saying Kelly O is a decent fit here as well. I see a need to sign him up for 2 years. I just love how smart he is. Like, there really is a lot of like scrappy, weird, like tools of the trade that Kelly knows that he can teach Grady and Scotty. They're going to set them up for the rest of their career with that kind of shit for them. Think about that inbounds play where Kelly like stole the ball from the Nets and just laid it up. It was so good that the camera didn't even catch it because they were looking down the court. Sometimes our camera crew's horrible. They're really bad at catching everything on the court. The person who directs the Raptors broadcasts, y'all need to do better. Sometimes you're caught on sideline reporting too long and you're missing parts of the game that are going on. And sometimes you're not really paying attention to where you should be on the camera and you miss key things like the Kelly Olynyk steal last night on the inbounds. That play that he did is something, well, listen, that kind of stuff can rub off on people. I think he's already rubbing off on Grady. I think that Grady already had this kind of workman-like mentality to get on the floor and get dirty. Well, it's not like Kelly Olynyk's going to stop him, or he's going to definitely encourage him to be more like that too. And Scotty, yeah, there's a lot of tricks of the trade that he can learn from Kelly as far as like positioning and muscling with big guys in this league, centers, power forwards, how to get position, how to draw fouls, how to get guys out of the position on defense so that they don't score on you. You know, if I have a criticism about Scott right now, is his interior defense is not good enough. It's not. In some ways, he's going to be a 4 or 5 sometimes for us defensively. He's got to be better at stealing guys out or getting to them and contacting them closer to the basket. They're getting too much room and they're scoring over him. So, Scotty, you've got to work on your interior defense. In some ways, you have better point of attack outside defense than you do in the paint. In some ways, this has been a problem the whole time you've been here because some of the ways we're counting on you to be one of our bigs in the front court with Jakob and rebound and do some of that big like defensive and rebounding stuff. Well, in some ways, you're not leaning into that or doing it the right way defensively down near the basket. There's still rim protection things you could learn, bodying up, meeting guys at the right time when they're coming at you with their ball and to stop them and stymie them. There's still too many times when Scotty is the last guy between the other team in the basket, and he's not effectively stopping them. These are things that he will improve and get way better at. And this is something that I think that he can improve the most on. This may be his biggest weakness is his interior defense is not smart yet. But people like Pirtle and Olynyk can help him to get better at stealing out and meeting the defender at the right time. I mean, meeting the offensive player at the right time to make sure they don't make the shot. There's too many shots being made around Scotty in the paint when he's standing right near them. And that's got to change. And that's a big place where he can fix it. And Kelly will help him. All right, Tom's got the food. Oh, my gosh. It's so nice to see the emoticon food parade back in effect. He's got the tacos. That's the Mexican for Carl Lane. And he's got that sushi for Justin Van Dyne. And he even gave him a cookie. Or no, that's the pot. That it looked like a cookie, but it's a curry. It looks like it's curry or something. Yeah, there you go. And there's the cowboy with the pepper. It's like Cowboy makes the food, but Tom paints the picture. He's the storyteller. He's the animator. And Cowboy's the character that's making the food because he's the cowboy in the skillet. There we go. Thank you, Tommy, for the food buffet for the refs. The refs are fed. They're happy. And maybe they'll call good calls for us. That's right. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. Great win. F a draft pick. It's called a lottery for a reason. Nothing's guaranteed. Trust your scouting staff to find the gems and keep winning. I know this is going to be all right. This is going to be something where Raptor Freak family needs to take stands against other Raptor fans because the opinions that are going to come out in the next couple of months are going to be really stupid and out of pocket. They're going to be mad because we're winning all of a sudden. They're going to think it's confusing. In fact, I saw Iceman like Gervin complaining on the Raptors interviews last night about picking a direction. Listen, that's not what this is, y'all. The direction has always been we want to win. It's just sometimes we're better equipped to win and we're not. And right now, the Raptors don't give a shit about their protected pick with the San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to say that right now. They don't give a shit. If they lose that pick this year, so be it. It's just part of the deal. And we're supposed to at some point. In some ways, it may be calculated that Bobby and Messiah are like, yeah, this draft is not as good as we thought. And let's go ahead and just let the Spurs have our pick. We're going to have to give it to them at some point anyway. So when people bring this up in Raptor spaces in the near future, really counterpoint that, like, look, we're going to have to give the Spurs a pick at some point in the next 3 years. And the drafts may be better in the next 2 years after this draft. So why don't we just get it over and done with? And in some ways, if people are mad because we make the play in and we don't keep that pick, they're idiots. They're idiots. Because in some ways, once again, winning is the most important thing with the Raptors. It's not about draft picks. It's not about getting the lottery. And it is, as Infamous said, it's a lottery for a reason. There's nothing guaranteed. We got to do what was best for us. We got to build towards winning and try and win, like they're saying. And everybody's confused about that. Well, why aren't we trying to keep our pick? No, we're not, maybe. We're not trying to keep our pick. And get over the idea that if we lose it, it's a fail, or in saying that, oh, then why do we trade and get Jakob like this? Well, we're getting Jakob to do what he does on the court. And let's see who the Spurs actually keep and pick this summer when they do the draft. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, this guy's not worth Jakob. We got the better deal in the pick. Then the pick's not good enough, like, compared to him. Like, I'll bet you money. We go see the person they draft, and then maybe who they become, and be like, yeah, Jakob's way better than this person. He always was. And we'll be like, yeah, the Raptors were awesome in that deal. A lot of people are already making the decision that a draft pick is worth more than Jakob Poeltl, and we don't know that. Well, you don't know that. That's mystery. That's a mystery dum-dum lollipop. You don't know what it is. You don't know if that draft pick is going to be better than Jakob Poeltl. We don't know where that draft pick is going to be, and we don't know any of that kind of stuff. So, if it's in top 6, we keep it. But if it falls out of the top 6 because we play better for the rest of the year, so be it. So be it. The Spurs get the 10th pick in the draft from us. Hey, they get the 9th pick. So what? So what? I will say Jakob Poeltl, who was higher than those picks when he was drafted, is worth more than those picks. Yeah. Infamous, really smart opinion. And thank you for espousing it today and giving me a chance to go and say what I just said. Some of the casuals are going to be like, whoa, the Raptors are failing because they're winning now. No, we're going to tell them why they aren't. That we want to get the experience of meaningful games at the end of the season for our young players in development. That's what matters the most. Nako's saying, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It'd be nice if we got Kelly in the Lowry trade. What? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. It would be nice if we got Kelly in the Lowry trade. Kelly wasn't on Miami at that time. Darko the Nacho. No, Kelly was already gone. He was in Detroit by that point. He was only on Miami his first few years in the league. He wasn't there when we got Goran and Precious. So there's no woulda, coulda, shoulda there. Fiercely saying, at Cowboy, I saw that yesterday. It stung me a bit to realize OG's jersey will most likely not be retired as a Raptor. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, we've got to look at accolades. In some ways, it's like OG's a champion for us, but he didn't play. He got a defensive team, second team, but he's not an all-star. In some ways, we got to make delineations. That's the thing. Some of these guys are going to be hometown favorites or guys that we love, but they're not going to be the caliber that need to get the honors that guys like Lowry and Siakam should get. That's why you can't make it an everybody club. I love what Dr. J's saying right now. He's saying that there's too many people talking about all-time greats. Like it's so like too casual. There's a lot of guys that are saying are all-time greats right now that are playing that are not. And Dr. J's trying to make the distinction of why they aren't. Some of it is achievement and championships and MVPs and all that kind of stuff. And some of it is also how you carried yourself and how you treated your career. In some ways, people like Kevin Durant and James Harden do not fit this category. And I think that's what Dr. J's point is it's too easy for people to throw words like GOAT or all-time great around, and it's not really fitting who they're fucking saying it. It's like I saw a picture of Scotty with Reggie Miller this weekend at the All-Star weekend, and they're saying two GOATs. I'm like, wait a second. That's counterintuitive. You can't have two GOATs. A GOAT is the greatest of all time. And there's only one greatest of all time. So when you say a bunch of GOATs, like people are using the term GOATs wrong. Like there's only one greatest of all time. Why the fuck are you saying a bunch of GOATs? That's counterintuitive and stupid. And it just shows that these are idiots that just like using the term, oh, look at that GOAT, this GOAT. You're like George St. Pierre and Scotty, the GOATs. I'm like, maybe they're GOATs in their own different careers, but these words are getting bandied around too much. And they don't mean anything at this point. All-time great, GOATs. You guys could make them have more weight if you didn't use them so much like water, motherfuckers. Seriously. A greatest of all time is like Muhammad Ali. A greatest of all time is like Michael Jordan. And y'all use the term GOAT too easily and freely in today's society. I don't even think y'all understand what it means, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Kareem saying 10-0, 26 more to go. There you go, Kareem Thomas. Are you saying that we still have a chance? Are you saying we have a chance? Yeah. I like what Matt and Jack were saying. It's like, look at Miami. They got in the play-in, and they went all the way to the finals. There's a chance. There is a chance. It may not be realistic. It may be fool's gold, like they called it last night. But, hey, there's a chance. We can sneak into the play-in and do some crazy things. Whoa. Let's do it, Raptors. Let's do it then. Fiercely saying, Tom Duke with the referees menu. I missed this. I know I missed this ish, too. That's right. I'm saying it. It's like we've been starving. We've been starving for that food, Tom. We needed that food. Those referees been so surly and grumpy this season because they didn't get their emoticon food plates. We know people get hangry when they ain't got no food. They get hangry. We don't want those refs to be hangry. Thank you, Tom, for returning. And Monique is saying, Gary. Yeah. Fiercely saying, yeah, Lex, they were eating so much. They missed a bunch of calls. It was hilarious. It's funny. I didn't realize how much I do kind of get them to listen. When they're not talking, I'm like, I'm not listening. Like they were so distracting. They were talking so much about food and eating. And like, give me a napkin. And I'm like, they're not calling the game. And I'm like, I'm not even paying attention to the game. I'm more caught up in the food and Matt and Jack pigging out. And I'm like, there was a whole section of the game that I didn't even watch because I think there was some Gary Trent threes. I think there was some other stuff that was happening, but I wasn't paying attention because these motherfuckers were eating their food. Like, seriously, I went to school at FSU for communication. I learned how to broadcasting school for TV and radio. And this is like cardinal sin number one, eating on the air. You know, you don't understand how many times I was at that FM DJ radio booth doing my long shift and I wanted to eat, but I had to do it around breaks because like, I'm not supposed to be on the air. That was Led Zeppelin, Houses of Holy. I'm not doing shit like that. I mean, it's unprofessional. It's the first thing to get you fired. Well, today's day and age, I guess we're just going to some crazy lax world where we've got NBA broadcasters eating and pigging out during sections of the game. Just like, I mean, I love it. I'm not being a hater. I just think it's hilarious because I come from my broadcasting background at Florida State, Diffenbaugh building. And Dr. Solomon told me you don't eat while you're on the air. It just goes against all the things I've trained as a broadcast professional. My schooling when I was younger. Ryerson kids can tell you that too. Not Ryerson, University of Metropolitan, whatever. They will tell you the same damn thing. It's like, oh, you're on the radio. Yeah, you're not supposed to have food in your mouth when you're on the radio telling the news, the traffic. Oh, there's a real tie-up on the DVP southbound. You're like, what the fuck? These guys up in the chopper. The traffic chopper eating food and he's on the air. Hilarious. I was like, what happened in that last section? Oh, they ate a lot of food. That's what happened in that last section. What happened on the court? I don't know. G saying, don't blame them. Jerk chicken is fire. No, I know. I'm not blaming them. I'm just making comedy out of it. I think it's hilarious. In some ways, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that they are so renegade, that they breaking the broadcasting rules of broadcast. I mean, other people will watch this. They may show this highlight on like NBA people down south and they'll be like, the Toronto announcers are crazy. Like they're eating jerk chicken during the middle of the game. Like, what the fuck is that? They love our announcers on the down low down there. All that hate towards Jack Armstrong. You say, you get what you get, Joel Embiid. Philly fans may hate him, but most of the people down south love Matt Devlin's call and his craziness. And all the antics these guys are doing up here are hilarious. I think that most NBA fans in general do enjoy the Toronto announce crew. They think that they're hilarious. Yeah, Infamous saying DJ Carton looks like a very interesting prospect. From looking at his videos, he reminds me of a low-budget Westbrook with better shooting. There you go. I like that description. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, he got off on the good foot right away last night, and I'd like to see him play again. I'm really glad that Darko took the starters out with 5 minutes to go, basically. I was really worried he was going to play them right up until the end. I was like, you have such a good lead in the fourth quarter. You need to take them out. You're on a back-to-back. You got to go to Atlanta, and you need to rest. I love that Scotty didn't come back in for most of the fourth quarter. He sat longer than the other guys, so he got really good rest at the end of the game. These are the kind of smart things you need to do to be ready for the schedule and what's coming up with Atlanta tonight is, get those bench guys out there. And I thought it was really cool when we saw Chris out there with them. In some ways, I'm really sad about Chris's place in the team at this point. But when he gets out there with garbage time with Jalen and Jordan and DJ and Och, he was the leader of that garbage time, and he was doing such cool things as like the weird leader of that team, Chris Boucher. And I was kind of here for it. I was like, it was kind of fun to watch Chris kind of be the old head leading those young guys on that in the last 4 minutes of the game last night. I thought he was fine. It's not like that they got a bunch of stats or anything, but they played at a high level. They outplayed the Nets during that period of time. And it was kind of cool to see. And I'm glad Chris did get in the game. In some ways, it's a weird place where he is. But also the weird thing is Chris seems happy, even though things are kind of weird. I think that there's really good communication between Darko and him, and that he's not upset. He's not disappointed about things. It just is what it is. And he's ready to just ride with it and be ready when his number's called. And that's the right way to be. And that's what Darko said to that press person that was like, why isn't Chris playing? He's like, well, Chris is a professional. And when I call his number, he'll be ready to play. And that's just how it is. So getting those garbage minutes with Chris leading the garbage team was kind of fun. Honestly, it's kind of fun. I liked it. All right, let's see. Nameless is saying, went to my first Raptors game, if you can believe it. Holy shit. So that was your first Raptors game and you got to meet the super fan, Monique Lawrence, and they won? You got to go to more games, my man, my paisano. And you got to meet Chris Boucher and the greatest superfan, Monique. So you met Chris too? Wow. Nameless, you got to tell us all about your experience. You got to tell us about hanging out with Mo. And you got to tell us about how you met Chris. Sue's got an interesting meeting Chris story. She was on the elevator going to get to her car, and he was in the elevator with her. It's kind of crazy. It's like she's just staying in the elevator. There's Chris Boucher. It's right after the game, and she's leaving to go home, and he is too. And they were just on the same elevator on the way out. I met Chris kind of once when I went to a game. He was standing at the elevator to go up to the third floor practice facility down near the Ford car display near the Center Sports. And I yelled, Boucher! And he turned and he waved at me. And I said, Chris Boucher! It's like I yelled at him from across the way. I didn't really run up to him and talk to him, but he waved to me when I did that. But that's cool, man. You got to meet some diehards. You got to meet the super fan and Chris. That's awesome. Yeah, G saying, awesome, Nameless. How was it? Yeah, tell us more, please. Tom Duke saying, no way. That's awesome, Nameless. Right on. Wish I was there. Yeah, really awesome first game to go to. Awesome, Nameless. You got to have to go more often. That's right. Tom saying, celebrating winning with Darko. That's right. Darko's birthday was awesome. Darko was very happy yesterday. You could tell. He's very enthusiastic. He had positive energy. He was enjoying his birthday. Sometimes you just have that birthday shine. You can tell. And Darko had that birthday shine yesterday. He's like, I'm not going to let anything get me down today. And I'm just going to be happy and enjoy my life. I'm an NBA coach of the Toronto Raptors, and I'm on cloud nine. And that's what he was yesterday. Name is saying, good morning, Mo. It was great. Chris Boucher is such a good guy. Oh, yeah, he's for real deal Holyfield. In some ways, he's kind of like real, and he'd be honest. He's like, you're kind of pissing me off. If you were pissing him off, he'd probably tell you. But most of the time, it's like he's just a nice dude, and he doesn't really enjoy he really does enjoy interacting with fans and talking to them. That's the thing that I've seen consistently about him. Most saying, thank you for your time, Nameless. So awesome. I'm really glad that you guys ran into each other. And this kind of stuff is awesome. Nameless, we I guess I could see your picture in the picture on your account, but like I'm not very intrigued about you, Paisano. And you're so mysterious. The fact that Monique saw you in person last night was very mysterious in our Facebook chat. We are all like, whoa, Nameless? You just saw Nameless at the game? She was like telling us right when it happened. Fiercely saying, I shouldn't say this as I have a daughter and need to promote anti-bullying, but I like our Raptors poking the bear, like they say. It's provocative. It keeps the people going. Nothing wrong with healthy competition. Laugh out loud. You know, in some ways, I get it. In some ways, there's a way that I was taught as a kid myself in team sports that is anti this. This is part of the problem. And this may be part of the disconnect with athletes today and just problems in general with athletes and how they look at things is that there's respecting the game and there's respecting your opponent was something I was taught. And showmanship and doing this kind of shit is really not good. I mean, we're seeing horrible behavior from youth in youth basketball where they're like bouncing the ball off of the opponent's face and then grabbing it and trying to score. There's a lot of really, really out of pocket, shitty behavior by youngsters. And in some ways, I get what you're saying. You're like, I like it, but also I want to be a good influence on my daughter. And that's what I worry about. There's a lot of young people that get the wrong message from this kind of stuff and they enact it themselves. And that's why I'm not really big on it. Now, if it helps us win games, I'll be more into it. But if it's hurting us, I'm definitely going to come down on it, just like I came down on Justin Champagny for sunning people. Because in some ways, it's the same kind of immature energy. It really is. It's the same kind of immature energy that's unnecessary and can be detrimental. Now, if it's helpful, if it does really be a Swagger and Scotty and he plays with more attitude and he's dominant and he can back it up, I'm all for it. But if he can't, like I said, cash those checks he's writing, then he needs to stop because he's going to make us look stupid and foolish. And that's really where I stand on this. If y'all going to do this kind of shit, this Bush League kind of shit, you better fucking back it up and win often. Because if you're going to do this shit and y'all are losers, you're just going to look like losers. And it really is sending the wrong message to the youth out there, as far as I'm concerned. So, Fierce, I know in your life with your daughter specifically, in some ways, I would do this. I'll be very, very open and honest with her about the whole situation with it and all sides of it and paint it out just like how I painted it out. Telling you, like, you can do this, but don't. You shouldn't in some ways. I don't agree with you doing it. I mean, they're in the NBA. And in some ways, it's like they can do it because they've gotten this point. But in some ways, you shouldn't do it yourself because it's not a good look. Just to be very explaining of it all in some ways. And hopefully she'll understand. Yeah, G saying, fiercely, I like the cockiness. I can't help myself, even if I tried. See, G's a sensible, great Raptor freak, very intelligent, knows his stuff, and he's all about it. I'm not totally with G on this. I think, once again, it's unnecessary, and it's more likely to cause problems than good things, is what I would say. Fiercely saying, nice and Nameless, happy for you. Yeah, that's so awesome you guys met up. It's so cool. Tom Duke has got a bunch of feathers. I like this. Let's get those Hawks and have feathers all over the place. He wants to. He's making me think of the real mascot matchup when we had popcorn chicken. The dinosaur ate popcorn chicken. Yeah, I mean, let's get those feathers. Yeah, for sure. Put some feathers in their caps by beating the Hawks. In some ways, it's like, let's think about the last game. We lost by 1 point to them. It's really disappointing. Hopefully, the guys still remember the last game against the Hawks and how they just barely lost because nobody boxed out Sadiq Bey, and he put a putback right at the last second. Jordan Wara. That was your defensive rebounding assignment. You didn't put a body on him. Yeah, that's what we got to remember. In some ways, we're 1-1 with them for the season. We beat them. They beat us. We got to beat them for the season. And that's why tonight is an important game for the Raptors to win. As the broadcast crew said, these could have implications for the play-in and seeding and who could get in, like last year with Atlanta. The Atlanta record with them in the season really mattered at the end of the season last year. It was a difference between play-in spots in certain ways, and it kind of hurt us. that we did not win the season series with the Hawks last year. So, if we're trying to mess around at the bottom of the play-in, well, this is really important that we get the season series against the Hawks if they're going to be one of those other teams trying to get in the play-in like us at the end of the year. So, yeah, this is an important game tonight for the season series, the Hawks, and play-in implications for sure. Bryce Lawson's here holding it down in Kentucky for the Raptor Freak family. What you saying today, Bryce? Hell no, Lex. Them Nets are not any kind of animals. Wasn't poking no bears. Them Nets are baby food. I love the energy. Scotty did that. His second made shot. Yeah, sorry. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Hey, listen, we all differ on opinions. I think this is a good topic that where we can differ on it. I've made my points, but I understand y'all's side of it too. And once again, I have no problem with things if we're winning. It's really like, okay, when we lose, I want to pick apart why we lost. And if those kind of shenanigans are going on in a loss, I will point them and I'll say, yeah, we shouldn't be doing this if we're going to lose in those kind of ways. But I understand you guys love the swagger. You love that kind of energy around it. In some ways, I get it. We've worried about us not having dogs or kind of being soft or, being pushovers as a team. Well, these guys are doing this kind of stuff. That doesn't indicate that these guys want to be pushovers and that they're, trying to be the assholes themselves. So I'm like, hey, all right. I mean, I can get behind what y'all are saying. You're saying that they weren't bears so that we can poke them. They were just baby food. Well, you were true to a degree. But in some ways, we don't want to turn baby food into bears because of out-of-pocket shit that we shouldn't have been doing. That's the thing that the risk is with that kind of stuff. Shere Khan's here. Good to see Shere Khan, Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year last year. Shere Khan, what's going on, man? Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Busy day today, but I just wanted to say hi. I don't mind Scotty being Scotty to amp up Bridges and bait him into making mistakes. He did have the worst plus-minus, and it kind of worked. Good win, though. Yeah, I mean, listen, the method of the madness, if it adds up to winning, I'm all for it. But in some ways, I'm not totally comfortable with that kind of energy from players on our team. But you know what? If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. I can't control it, just like David can't control Cool Cat's fantasy team. I can't control the Raptors going to do this. All I can do is opine and react to it and be supportive and hope that they win. That's all I can do. Kareem saying, nameless, you should have went streaking to get the full experience. This is the thing that always comes up sometimes. When Kareem Thomas he tried to tell me to streak at the game. And I was like, no, I value being able to go to the Scotiabank Arena to go to games. And I don't want to be on some list that you can't come back because he was naked on the court. No, I don't want to do that. That's not the best advice, Kareem. Let's see. Fiercely saying, love it, Tom, dude. Get those feathers. Yeah, let's get those hawk feathers. Those even look like hawk feathers. Like those little brown feathers look like hawk feathers. Or wait, are those cat of nine tails? I don't know. Those are feathers. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. That's a good W for the confidence of our youngins. I agree. It's a good first step after the All-Star break. We're building and we're getting confidence. I love the smiles. I love the easygoingness. I love seeing our guys happy. In some ways, that's something we want to see more of. When they're losing so much, it's tough. We lose 3 games in a row. We win 2 in a row. We lose 3 games in a row, win 2 in a row. That's kind of been the pattern in the last couple of weeks right now. And in getting those 2 wins in a row are good. Hopefully we'll win tonight. And we'll be two games to dinner with Darko. 2 games to dinner with Darko. That's right. Tom Duke's saying, yes, good call, Kareem. Streaking would be such a nameless thing to do. Fiercely, let's go. Yeah, I don't know if anybody wants that to happen. Seriously, it's a family environment. I mean, seriously, they're kicking people out now for curse words. It used to be at sporting events, you're going to hear colorful language, and they didn't really enforce it. But now they really have, like, in some ways, this is an area of free speech and freedom that you kind of see things encroaching. I think it's a good rule. I don't think that people should be just yelling F-bombs at the court all the time. But it's very interesting that they talk about it way more than they ever did in the history of the NBA, and they will kick people out for overuse of yelling and profanity and stuff like that. So very, very interesting. So you think they're going to kick somebody out for cussing? They're going to kick somebody out for getting naked and running on that court too. You see the clip of Kevin Durant coming out to the game in Dallas, and some lady called him a bitch. And he turned around and ran right over to her and said, what did you call me? And it's just like interacted with them. They were all like, oh, wait, no, Kevin, sorry. No, we like you. You're cool. And stuff like, oh, they changed real quick when he actually came and faced them off and confronted them. And then he went back to go practice. And the staff at the American Airlines Arena for Dallas actually came over to those people and said, we're going to kick you out. Yeah, they're gonna kick this guy out. This guy's trying to tell Kevin, "Oh, I do a podcast." He's like me. He's like, "I do a podcast." Kevin Durant don't give a shit if we do podcasts, motherfucker. In fact, he kind of looked disgusted after he heard that. And then Kevin saw them kicking them out, and he came back and told them, "No, don't kick them out. Don't kick them out." He actually saved their ass. He's better than them. Yeah, you think twice. I mean, seriously, they can hear you. What are you gonna run? He run right by you and say, "Bitch, bitch." It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? And Kevin's so crazy. He interacts straight up with the fans, left and right, on Twitter, in person. It doesn't matter. He's fearless. He's fearless. It was kind of awesome. Tom's saying, "Let's go, Cat. Let's go, Cool Cat. Good morning." Infamous is saying, "Other teams are always flexing on us. I have no issue with us showing showboating on other teams. We're too nice as a team. Sometimes I like a little edge." Well, there you go. There you go. That's kind of what I was just saying. In some ways, we've been too soft, too nice. Well, we're not anymore, obviously. I mean, listen, you guys, if this is the new NBA and this is how it is, old heads like me that have the old rule book of code of conduct for how you are as an athlete in team sports, in some ways, like, we got to throw that out the window. I get it. It's like Chuck D recently said to old heads like me and him, this isn't our century anymore. If you were born before 2000 and everything is weird and crazy to you and it doesn't make total sense, well, in some ways you're gotten old and you're that old grumpy guy who's saying, these new age times and stuff like that. But in some ways also I'm kind of like, what the fuck are we going towards? If this is the kind of stuff we're going towards, I really do feel like idiocracy is happening in our society. I feel like Mike Judge has got it exactly right with his movie. And we see it in stupid ways. Like, I don't know, a friend of mine on Facebook posted this thing yesterday where young people are afraid of punctuation. Like, if you text them and you use spaces or use periods, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so passive aggressive. You're so aggressive towards me." Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I see you guys using punctuation in this chat here, but a millennial or somebody who's young would be all offended by using punctuation. Well, let's think about this. Punctuation is to distinguish words and to make it easier for people to read with the beats. In fact, the people that use punctuation in my chat make it easier for me to read your chat, honestly. And in some ways, it's the dumbing down of society. If young people are rejecting punctuation in text and in writing and things like that, whoa, why do you have to do that? Oh, no, no, no. In some ways, that shows that we're getting stupider as a whole, as people. Stuff like this is going out the window. Well, what are we going to be in like 50 years? It's not even going to be about punctuation. Are we just going to be grunting and moaning like idiots and not even saying words anymore because nobody's saying anything? I don't know. In some ways, I worry about what direction we're going in as a society, and if we're duplicating the prophecy of the movie Idiocracy by Mike Judge. If you don't know that movie, go watch it. It's very good. It's very, very good. If not, a little depressing, and we can gauge how some of the benchmarks on that movie are happening in real life. Whether we put Trump as a president, like that Camacho guy that was the president in Idiocracy, which is Terry Cruz from Brooklyn 911. He plays a president in Idiocracy, and he's like a pro wrestler. He's like, It's like a reality star president, Donald Trump. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Right there. Let's keep going. David's saying, "Hey, DJ Carton is pretty decent. Moves well. He's fast and shit. I like him." Yeah. He looked capable. He looked hungry. He went and took that brass ring and made something happen right away. There you go. That's the kind of moxie and kind of get it done kind of stuff I like. DJ Carton coming in. He's a fresh milk carton in the milkman's tray. He can put it in the game. It's fresh, good milk. Yeah, good job, DJ Carton. Yeah, Nameless is saying Monique is amazing, even better in person. Lots of smiles and laughter. It was such a coincidence that I bumped into her just by chance. It made my night. We weren't sitting too far from each other. Very cool. Very cool. So you had good seats then, Nameless, because I know Monique has good seats. So I know you had some good seats. Well, I'm sure you just ran into her and you didn't even know because you don't have any way of getting contact with her. So it's just a happenstance. So that's awesome. It was meant to be serendipity. There you go. There you go. Bryce is saying that is true, Lex. Gary is very important for us. I believe so, or at least the role that he is filling is important. And whether he's doing it because he's doing it consistent enough that we invest in him this summer, or we get somebody else that can do a similar thing that he does and they do the role for us instead. But I think that role is important, that we need that kind of catch and shoot, open shooter, 3-point shooter that just needs to be steady. Now, is Grady going to become that guy over time, or are we going to get somebody different this summer, or is it going to be Gary? And in some ways, once again, Gary's got a lot to prove by the end of this year still. In some ways, it's up to him what's going to happen for sure. Fiercely saying that reporter asked IQ about Grady, quickly noticed he was probing the wrong person. That was cringy. Ask the coach instead. Yeah, those reporters suck. Like, honestly, in some ways, I haven't been hearing Grange in there. That's good. I haven't been hearing Grange asking questions there. That's a little bit of improvement. But some of those other turkeys in there are just as stupid. Zatzman really don't ask dumb questions sometimes. It's Zatzman. He's been asking dumb questions. Some of them are way better than others in some ways. Like Corrine, he's always asking stupid questions too. Yeah, I find that Savannah's asking some of the better questions these days. Of course, Sampson's usually pretty good. Oren's hit and miss. Oren can be good sometimes, but sometimes he's just like, what are you asking that, Oren? But sometimes he has really good questions too. I mean, I can go through all those guys and say Mike Ganter. Yeah, he's usually full of shit. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying that. Oh, yeah, I reread that. Cowboy saying one finger salutes for a while. Also, don't bite. Don't be late. Chef Darko's cooking spicy pepper curry hawk in the skillet. Let's go, Tom Dukes. And I like Carton. Maybe he gets more minutes tonight. Maybe. I mean, he ingratiated himself very well as first impression. So who knows? Maybe he expands on his time. That's how it works in the NBA. You get some time, you do well, it expands. So maybe he does get to play more tonight. We could see that. Most saying stars of the game for her, Gary, IQ, and Scotty, and us fans. Yeah, the fans were part of the stars too. Good, lively crowd, good vibes, as I said. Very, very good vibes. Tom Duke saying back in 2020, the Raptors won 15 in a row and owned the longest winning streak by a Canadian franchise in major sports league. I just want 2 in a row right now. I know it seems like we were so spoiled. We really were. And that's just part of the reason why Raptors Nation's so idiotic is we've been spoiled. Y'all been spoiled with how successful the Raptors have been. A 15-win streak. We did that with Nick Nurse, y'all. We did. And in some ways, just getting 3 right now is so difficult right now. That's what I'm saying. There's different levels where you can be with your franchise. And obviously, the level where we are with our franchise is better than Brooklyn right now. Yeah. And that's interesting because in some ways, it's not like they did a lot of the stuff that we just did, but we're in a better place than them. That's very interesting to me. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to want 3 in a row. I want 3 in a row. I want 5 in a row. I want 10 in a row. At some point, we're going to get back to those points. Cowboy saying Trent was Trenting last night. Trent was Trenting. Yes, yes, and yes. Nameless. Super Mo is an amazing person. Glad you finally got to meet the queen. There you go. Dap, Cowboy. That's right. Celebrating our MVP, Monique. Nameless saying 100% Mo. I was just about to say that. Yeah, there you go. David saying so sick you got to meet Boucher. Damn. Yeah, he's jealous of you, Nameless. I've been trying to get his jersey signed for 2 years. Laugh out loud. Yeah, and don't bring it on the coach's open practice. You will not be able to get to Chris or get him to sign it. They really want no contact with these guys. In fact, they want them to act like we're not even there. They want us to just kind of sit and watch and observe. We can't talk. We can't try and get their attention. They're coming in and they're supposed to act like the gym is empty and there's nobody observing them and they just doing a regular practice like they would normally with nobody in there. So that's how they do it, and they're very strict about this. They really do not want anybody with their phones out at all during this whole event. So do not try and take any pictures or photography or videos of the coach's open house if you are coming with me, because they will get pissed at you. In some ways, you will be a turncoat on the Raptors Nation because you are leaking secretive information about a closed practice. So very much, all y'all that have designs, maybe possibly on either getting pictures or getting things signed on the coach's open house, just forget about it. It's not going to happen. And this is not the event to try and do that kind of stuff. Just so you know, David, just so you know. Fiercely saying ESPN fantasy sucks. Yeah, I like the Yahoo better. Historically, I always played Yahoo fantasy. Randolph saying blessings to our Raptor Freaks most informative gang. Remain positive no matter what life throws your way. Continue doing what's right, even if others are doing wrong. This is an important thing, honestly, in today's society. That's part of why I'm saying about this whole showboating thing. It's wrong in a lot of ways. In some ways, it's wrong. It shouldn't be a part of the game. And in some ways, just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean we should. I mean, it's just like criminal stuff. People are doing criminal stuff all around the world, different ways. It doesn't just because it's allowed. Or in some ways, there's a lot of criminal stuff that's done legally by big corporations and stuff like that. Doesn't mean it's right. And in some ways, you being the right person, not doing the wrong while everybody else is doing that wrong and partaking in it, it still doesn't make it right just because everybody's doing it. So if you can steadfastly say, no, I'm not doing that because I have morals and I'm not doing this kind of shit just because everybody else is doing it. Good for you. Good for you. And everybody's battle on that is different. In some ways, it's like it may be a completely different subject where they get involved with what I just said. Kareem saying, I got to give David an alley-oop for his psychotic love for fantasy basketball. I respect the hustle. It is psychotic. It is psychotic. That is exactly the right word for this, Kareem. And you're exactly right. It is psychotic. Psychotic is the right word. And I'm going to give David that dunk. It's seriously, like, he's told me this a couple times this year. It's like he hates the deadbeat coaches in our fantasy league. He said, everybody's not doing anything with your fantasy team. What the hell? He's so mad at you because he's overanalyzing your team while you're not even looking at it in absentia. He is looking at your team and he's figuring out how you could have been doing what you should be doing this week, Cool Cat. And it's frustrating to him because he can see that you'd be beating him if you had actually been playing your team this week. It is what it is. Who cares? In some ways, it's like Cool Cat doesn't want to play her team. She doesn't want to have a player team, David. Get over it. You get the win. It's a bye week. There you go. Handed to you. Oh, you don't like things handed to you? Well, tough titty. You get it. Handed to you this week. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. Randolph saying that victory was impressive. It is a sure sign of things to come. This will be an exciting team to watch. I like the mix. I like the look of it. I like the personalities. I like some of the, really like the passing thing I was talking about earlier, where it's like a collective of guys who are very good passers. You know, the guys that I say are for sure going forward, there's only 6 guys, and I'm saying for sure should be on our team next year for sure. The barbecue, obviously. Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly. And then after that, it's Jakob, Kelly, and Grady. Those 3 guys too. Those 6 guys for sure next year. And everything after that, it can happen whatever way. Gary's the next person I'm leaning towards wanting to keep after that. The rest of them are kind of like, eh. You know, Bruce Brown didn't have a very, very good game last night, but he had important moments and he did really interesting things. In some ways, I'm starting to see the value of Bruce Brown. He didn't have the most impressive stat line, but he was definitely helping us last night. He was definitely helping us. He had some nice assists. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Randolph's saying, oh yeah, I read that. Tom saying, seems like Darko's birthday switched things from development mode to winning mode. Let's hope it was a win of number 1 of 27 in a row, right, Kareem? Well, I love this. Listen, if they did anything extra last night in honor of their coach because it was his birthday, that's fantastic. In some ways, that's an easy thing to get the team up for. It's like, it's coach's birthday. Let's win it for him. And in some ways, if they had not won or they'd done something lame, like didn't have the right effort or lost to a worse team, the Nets last night, I would have been like, yeah, these guys are not like bought in with Darko. It's his birthday. They need to beat a shitty team. It's funny because Nets Nation thought they were going to cakewalk through us last night. Seriously, they've seen us this season and they just assumed that the Raptors were patsies and we'd just be an easy win for them in the struggle recently. No, that's not what happened. Y'all got routed by us. In fact, Nets Nation's in even more shambles because they just got routed by the Raptors. It's not even the Celtics. The Celtics, they can understand 50 points. But y'all just got routed by the Raptors. Oh my gosh. Are you going to fire Kevin Ollie tomorrow too? Just keep that carousel spinning, Sean Marks. Just keep it spinning. Maybe you'll land on Steve Nash again at some point. I don't know. Oh my gosh. All right, let's keep going. Nameless is saying Darko is such a good coach, man. That much is clear when you see him live. He's an amazing coach. That's what I've been trying to tell people. Like, you didn't even see it. Like, they're in the middle of a free throw. The other team's shooting free throws. He's yelling instructions to our players. Very fiery, very engaged, very on top of things, very knowledgeable. Yeah, there's so many tells that he's an amazing coach. And all these jackasses out here making half-ass opinions like, oh, he's a really good assistant, but he's not a very good head coach. You're idiots. You're honestly idiots. First of all, he's been an assistant in this league for like 15 years. He's ready. Honestly, y'all think, oh, Darko's just an assistant coach. He's not a head coach. You're dumbasses. Let's just put it that way. Nameless went there in person, saw with his own 2 eyes that coach is working on the sideline during the game. He's very vocal. He's very engaged. He's very much on top of things. In some ways, sometimes these coaches like Eric Curry just let things pass by them and they don't catch everything. No, Darko's not like that. He's on top of shit. He's on top of shit with talking to the refs, talking to his coaches, talking to his players, and getting the best things happening for the team. And I love the quick timeouts. Like I said earlier, if he had not called that timeout and pulled Gary after the halftime, 3 minutes in, Nick Nurse might have played them for 7 or 8 minutes and let them really come back and get a lead on us. Darko's signature quick timeout is one of my favorite things, honestly. He didn't take no mess. As soon as things are unraveling or something's wrong on the court, boom, timeout. And he doesn't even care about how many timeouts he has left or not. It's a weird thing. In some ways, he's like, yeah, I don't care if I'm going to run for just 2 timeouts. If I burn through the timeouts early in the game and I just don't have timeouts later, so be it. I'll just manage the game that way. I've noticed that about him. I love the challenge last night. It was a weird optical illusion because it looked like it went off RJ, but it was actually off Mikhail. And the camera angles looked weird. And that's why the refs called it wrong. And they challenged it and they got it right. And they overturned it and gave the ball to us on that out of bounds play. That was fun. That was good. And I'm glad that we did that challenge and got that to happen. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Bryce is saying, y'all see Ben Simmons try to score the very first play and get blocked? That was awesome. That was dirty as fuck. That was a ref manipulation. The refs were trying to give him a good start right off the beginning by giving him the ball right away to get a layup, and Sky was not having it. He got his shit blocked. It was so awesome. It was so awesome, Bryce. I saw that. It was so good. It was so good. I loved the way the game started. I liked how he did that block, and then he got the first basket going the other way, and it was very aggressive, going right to the basket. Nobody stopped him. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is Scotty after the All-Star is different. Scotty after the All-Star is definitely different for sure. Definitely different. All right, Carlos saying 7 weeks into the rebuild, and we're already ahead of the Pistons. Oh, we were always ahead of the Pistons. That game that we lost the Pistons in some ways was charity, and was also reeling from the OG trade earlier in the day. So in some ways, they were due to get a loss. And in some ways, Bobby and Masai were calculating, well, if we lose the Pistons today, we have a good excuse. We just made a huge trade and shook up our team completely. So, I mean, whatever. We've been better than a bunch of teams recently. It's just we haven't won, and our record doesn't reflect it. Yeah. Let's see. Nameless saying last night the Raptors played as though they were prepared to keep on winning. That's right. They're building. They're building stuff. They're building the culture. They're getting more wins. They're understanding how to win with each other better. And they're going to get there more and more. This team's really cool. Like really, really interesting with the barbecue combination. Very, very interesting. Monique's saying, hey, Lex, you may be right about 30 wins. That's where I'd like to get to. I don't like the Raptors getting 20-win seasons. It's really ugly and bad. And 30 is not great either, but it's better than 20-win seasons. We're at 20 right now. They get 10 more wins by the end of the season. Good. We need to get to at least 30. I don't want to have a 20-win season in any kind of way. That will signify early expansion years records. And I don't want to be that bad. I want to get to at least 30. So let's win at least 30, if not more than that, for sure. Cowboys saying, my 3 stars are Masai, Bobby, and Darko. The future is bright for the Raptors. This offseason is going to be interesting. Masai ain't done yet. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, he's got some money to spend. We're going to get some free agents. Let's see how he does it. He may spend it on Emmanuel and then a couple other names too. Bryce is saying, they're prepared. Y'all get ready for the win streak coming. I can't wait to see the faces of the Darko haters when we do. Yeah. And honestly, anyway, they're not relevant, those people. Salsa's fiercely saying alley oop to Cowboy. All right, I'll give a Cowboy a dunk. Let's see there. All right, let's see. Carlos saying Nets is a good example of a bad coaching carousel for sure. They've had. All right, this is the crazy stat that they said last night that I didn't even believe when I heard it. Since they've moved to Brooklyn from New Jersey, which is like in the 2000s. They have had 8 coaches, something like that, 8 or 9 coaches or something. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. They've had 4 coaches in like the last 3 years or something. It's ridiculous. It's honestly really, really bad. And like they said last night, the best one they had was Kenny Atkinson. They were successful with him. And when they fired him, it was kind of stupid. That was the Jared Allen edition of the Brooklyn Nets. That was actually kind of really starting to have a good nucleus. Well, they mortgaged all that for selling their soul for the big 3, and they see where they got with that experiment with having Durant, Harden, and Kyrie together. Yeah, they sold their souls for that big 3, and now they get what they get at this point. Cowboys saying thank you to Fiercey, and David saying double alley-oop. What, you want me to give one to Fiercey too? I can give one to Fiercey too. Why not? We'll give Fiercey a dunk as well. No. 35. She's got the Durant number now. Let's see, back-to-backs, baby, yeah. Fiercely saying, honestly believe the Hornets and Pistons look and play better than the Nets. Wizards are on and off, but the way the Nets play, they're not at the right ranking. Yeah, they're going to fall, and this is why I think we should overcome them in the Atlantic Division before the end of the season. That team is so bad last night. If we're not above them in the Atlantic Division by the end of the year, something's wrong. Let's just put it that way. Something is wrong. Carlos saying Raptors separating themselves from the league by having a hire like Darko. I think that this will eventually come true. This is a little early, but people will realize what Carlos saying is true by the end of things in a couple of years. Watch. Carlos saying, I bet Simmons' next contract will be vet minimum fall from grace. Yeah, and he probably won't want to play. It won't be worth it to him. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens the next couple of years with Ben Simmons. In some ways, he may be the biggest bust in a long, long time in the NBA. Seriously, very huge bust. Jillian saying, morning freaks, happy back-to-back Wednesdays. Yeah, I was hoping, I wish the game was on Wednesday yesterday, but it was Thursday. I wanted it to be on Wednesday, but they won. That matters. So hopefully you get the win tonight. Good to see you, Jill. Hope you're doing good on TGIF. Fiercely saying, for Ben Simmons, yesterday's price will definitely not be today's price. Yeah, that's funny, Fiercely. That is funny. It's definitely true. Cowboy saying, thanks, David. Dap, let's go. Jillian in the house. Let's go. Oh, water break honorarily for Jill since she's here. Laugh out loud, Cowboy. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da services. Do you need your windows clean? You know, it is starting to become spring, and you might want to see clearly now out your windows. And if you don't want to clean them, you could call Bradley at Tada, 647-833-6844. Tada Services will come and do any odd job around your house, whether it's a handyman thing, whether it's cleaning, whether it's removal of toxins. These guys are trained to do this, and they'll come and help you if you need them. So call Bradley, Tada, 647-833-6844. Blackhawks saying retire 15 had made his mark on the Raptors, and it put Toronto on the map for basketball. See, Neil's in this camp. I'm not. I am not in this camp. And I think that like the Ring of Honor distinction between Ring of Honor or jersey retirement is an important one. In some ways, the jersey retirement is the ultimate honor you can give a player from your history. Is the jersey retirement. You're retiring the number. Nobody can ever wear it again. And that's a really, really big deal. In some ways, that's already been messed up. Amir Johnson was 15 when he was on the Raptors in the 2010s. So it's like, you know, that 15 has been worn by many guys since. And in some ways, it's not special to Vince. It really isn't. It's not iconic like Kyle Lowry's 7. It's not iconic like Fred VanVleet's 23 for us. I'm sorry, it just isn't. 43 for Siakam. It's just not. And I will dissent with this opinion that we should retire the 15 for Vince. I don't think that's the right way to honor him. I really don't. In some ways, that's the way you distinguish the club that is like honorable and not honorable by jersey retirement. I tell you, I'll give him a statue. In some ways, some people will say, well, statue is even better than a jersey. And I would agree. So give him a statue. Put him in a Ring of Honor, but don't retire his jersey number. He doesn't deserve that. I really do truly believe that. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. The Raptors left after 11 p.m. last night. I saw the Delta charter took off on flight radar, and it was after 11 minutes to midnight they left. So they got in Atlanta at around 2 a.m. or so. Yeah, I was wondering how long they were going to take. Like, Gary got into the interview room right after Darko. I was like, oh, man, they must be running right out there. But then they waited like another 40 minutes, and then Emmanuel did his interview, and I'm like, well, they're not left yet. And then I saw Chris post something on his Instagram last night of going to the plane just before midnight. And yeah, you got to wonder when they get there, and then they get to the hotel from Hartsfield. Now, the one thing about Hartsfield is it's not that far from downtown, and you can in that time of night, you could probably get from the airport to their hotel pretty quick. So hopefully they got into their hotel rooms by 3 or 3:30, and they were able to get a pretty decent sleep. If they're just waking up now, that's good because they should sleep in if they're going to do a late flight like last night. In fact, let's go look at the Instagram stories. We got Chris talking about being an island kid, talking about Caribbean Heritage Night last night, and how he wants to give back and help kids from the islands come and do things here. And that's why he does his scholarship at the university here in Toronto. So yeah, very cool stuff. And him and Grady have a budding friendship. It looks like he posted a picture of my boy Grady, and him and Chris are laughing and dapping each other. And Grady posted it himself. And there's Chris on the tarmac walking out to get on the plane with his buddy, and his buddy's complaining. Here's Kyle Lowry wearing the City of Brotherly Love jersey for Philadelphia. He got a very nice ovation, our GROAT, in Philadelphia at Wells Fargo from the Philadelphia crowd, welcoming their hometown hero to play for them for the first time. Lowry getting his first basket was a little up and under layup, pretty nice. He didn't have a bad game. He even hit a buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter. It was crazy. Precious was really good in this game, guys. Precious has been starting for the Knicks. And in some ways, Achua is becoming a fan favorite with them too, because of the stuff that we loved about him with his rebounding, his blocks, and his defense. So good job, Precious, becoming more loved by the Knicks fans at this point. I think that they all like Precious and OG at this point. Kyle came in the game and he got that standing ovation. Of course, the Villanova guys on the other side are celebrating with him, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. You see them together after the game. They're calling him the old man, the big brother, Kyle Lowry. Brunson and Lowry probably have a very interesting relationship. They're probably very close. Yeah, so good stuff seeing the Villanova love in Philadelphia and Kyle Lowry in the middle of it. Grady Dick posting the post by Chris. So there's a reciprocation between Dick and Boucher as far as the post from yesterday. Emmanuel quickly posting some highlights from the game from the sideline, and one shot that he made in particular, the step back three right in front of his friend. And it's cold. It's cold. Mr. New York City posting a couple things himself. He has a picture of himself with Steph Curry from the All-Star weekend. And yeah, they're on the West Coast already. Miles Burns posting a picture of him in Santa Cruz, California yesterday. So that's why the 905 guys weren't on the bench. If you notice, there was no Jonte, there was no Justice, there was no Mohamedou, there was no Marquise, there was no Javon Freeman Liberty. None of those 905 guys were on the bench or present at the Raptors game against Brooklyn last night because they're all on the West Coast already. And they're over there to be it. That's part of the reason why they didn't do the second 10 days with Justice and Mogi, is because there you have to go out west and be separated from the team. And in some ways, they want full strength out there just in case there's injuries. It's not like they can send somebody out there all of a sudden and to make sure they have them. So they got to go full strength on trips out west with 905. So that's why Justice and Mogi are not signed to a second 10-day. They are necessary for this 905 West Coast trip. Now, when they come back in the 10 days up for DJ Carton and whoever the open roster spot is going to be, they may get signed again at 10-day contracts when they come back. So don't count that out for Mohamedou and Justice. They really are not getting renewed the 10-day the second time because they need to go west. And that's it right there. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Jill's saying Trae Young is not into defense, so I hope the Raptors exploit this. Yeah, this is a good, smart game plan for tonight, for sure, Jill. Go at Trae Young. In some ways, I like what Scotty was doing last night. He was baiting fouls onto Dennis. If you can do that to Trae Young tonight, that'd be fantastic, Scotty. If you get in some of these situations where you had Dennis on your back, like a little baby, you can do this to Trae. They're similar sized players. If you can get Trae Young in foul trouble because you're directing your energy at him or trying to post him up, that's a good idea, Scott. Seriously, that's a very good idea. I wonder if Trae Young and Scotty are closer now because of being teammates on the skills competition this past weekend. It'd be very interesting to see. Also, they're kind of in the same boat because they were both injury replacement all-stars. So I don't know if Trae Young and Scotty got bonded any closer because of their all-star experiences this past weekend. Chris is saying, if we play a good team, yes, we will lose. But it did seem that the Raps played together. The BBQ TPO plus crew looked good and did what was needed. Sure, the Nets sucked, but they won last time we played them. Yeah, that was a whole different scenario. Ed Malloy, they had different players themselves. They've traded a couple guys differently since we played them. And also, we had different guys. We had different guys at the time. That was so long ago, too. That was in November when we played the Nets the first time, for sure. I think this is a very honest and important thing to remember, Raptors fans. The Nets are very much not at a good level of things. And even teams like Charlotte and Detroit, like was mentioned earlier, are somewhat playing better high-level basketball than the Nets right now. So in some ways, last night is not a good game to gauge things. Tonight is a better one. Let's see how things go with the Hawks tonight, and let's see how that goes. Carlos got laughing at the BBQ TPO plus. BBQ TPO plus. So that is a TPO. That is Pirtle, Olenek, and who's the T? Oh, Trent. Trent, Pirtle, Olenek. Yeah. You should say BBQ TPO Dick. David's saying, if they play every game like last night's game, I couldn't care less what our record is. It was basketball and it was entertaining. Yeah, I just want a good effort. Like I've said many times this season, if we don't add up to winning with our talent and trying really hard, so be it. It's just how it is. It is what it is. We'll get better and we'll add up and we'll get there someday. We'll get there at some point. Stargate saying, how is Ben Simmons still in the league? How is Ben Simmons any better than Malachi Flynn right now? I think they're about the same level, honestly. That's a pretty good comparison. Malachi Flynn, Ben Simmons. Jill saying, feel better to Dana. Yeah, she broke her finger, her middle finger. I wonder how she did that. She's using her one finger salute too much. She's on the DL for what her role is on the Raptor Freak family. She's the one finger salute. That's right. In some ways, we're gonna have Jill. How's your one finger salute? Can you step in next one finger up is mentality here. We need the next one finger up mentality because Dana's on the DL all of a sudden with her one finger. Let's see. David's saying, I don't usually like this poking the bear thing, especially so early in the game, but I honestly think that's what Scotty needs. He needs to be cocky. Stop being so sweet and nice. Well, if anything, it's gonna make him not want to embarrass himself. It's like, shit, man, you just wrote that check. You don't want to embarrass yourself. And Scotty has embarrassed himself with this kind of shit before. I really thought it was really tacky of him to do the look off dunk when we're losing by like 20 in a game. That's when it looks really bad. Like he may do these kind of behaviors and we're actually losing. And then it just looks stupid. Some people in the league are calling him out for this. People in the NBA or in general fans are saying Scotty is taunting when he doesn't really have the backup for it, for what's happening in the game. And I kind of agree with them that in some ways, when he's taunting people, it's like, that's not when you taunt them. You don't have anything to stand on. You are fucking down by 25. That's the things that I worry about. He needs to know when and where. And maybe like tone it down a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe it's good. It's good energy. You guys think it's good energy overall. In some ways, I'm like worried about it. I'm just like, just be smart. Just be smart. Cowboys saying alley-oop to David. Win or lose, let's grow, Raptors. All right, you want me to give an alley-oop to David? I'll give an alley-oop to David. All right, you got that, Cowboy. Let's see. And David's saying, fuck him. That's why he gets alley-oops. And David's laughing. Stargate saying, I hope Dennis and his family get to go back to L.A. There was a little bit of speculation about this, like with the announce crew last night. It's like, why? They don't understand why the Nets didn't buy out Dennis and let him be free to go out with their current condition of what they're doing right now. In some ways, it's kind of like, I think Dennis may be happier free agent and just going anywhere than just being on the Nets right now. I don't know. They were questioning this because in some ways, if they didn't buy him out and get rid of him, they're on the hook for him next year. So maybe he's in Brooklyn's plans, Dennis Schroeder. I don't know. It's a little mystifying because of where they're at and what they're doing with him. It doesn't totally jive with. It's weird. It's weird. Let's just put it that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, why are you keeping Dennis around if you're in this state? Why didn't you cut him or buy him out and let him go to that market? And maybe he goes to a contender. In some ways, that's part of the problem. It's like Dennis came to Toronto to try and contend for a championship. Everything went completely wrong. And now he's on a team that's going nowhere. And he's trapped. He can't go anywhere from there. That's how it goes sometimes. He's reminding himself, I play in the best basketball league in the world, and I'm very blessed and lucky. And that's all he needs to keep telling himself, even if things aren't ideally happening the way they're supposed to this year. That's right. Let's see. Chris is saying, I forgot Grady. BBQ DTPO plus. All right. Yeah. All right. Cowboys laughing. Blackhawks saying, Dennis helped us win last night by not going off. Yeah, I don't know. I think he made a little bit of weird mistakes here and there, maybe partly because he's not gelling with the Nets exactly right completely. There were some turnovers. There was a missed free throw that looked fishy to me. Yeah, in some ways, it's like, and so I also really applaud Dennis for not taking a cheap shot on Grady on that one breakaway dunk he got. Dennis was back with him, and he could easily pushed him. But I think Dennis really likes Grady Dick. They bonded while he was here. And he was classy, and he could have easily did a dirty play to Grady when he got that open layup. He didn't, though. He didn't. He let him just put it in, which was good. In some ways, your team's not trying. Why do you want to do a dirty play to somebody you like? That may have been part of the mentality of Dennis in that moment. Seriously, because he could have hit him out of the air and messed up his shot, but he just let him lay it in. He was right there. He could have done it. Jill's saying Boucher barely played again. Well, it's not that he's a part of the future. In some ways, it's like we know what he's going to do. I'm putting this to rest. I'm not going to argue with the coach. I'm not going to get upset about this just for one player. I think Chris is going to have important moments and do key things for us for the rest of the year still. And it's just because he's not in the regular rotation. He's in the third team. It is whatever. It is what it is. In some ways, I like the stabilization of him in the garbage time with those young guys. David's saying it makes sense. We need to see how the other guys mesh together. Boucher is my guy, but he's a known quantity. Yeah, see, David's just echoing some things that I've been saying. Is we know what Chris is going to do for us. We know what he's going to do, and in some ways, he's melded with a lot of the guys already more than the other guys, and it's just what it is. In some ways, Chris is the old guard. He's a symbol of the old guys that were here, and he's still around. But maybe not after this summer. We'll have to see. Stargate saying Claxton has tuned out. He is most definitely out of there at the end of the season. Yeah, he wasn't trying like he was in the first game we played against him. I remember people were saying Claxton has been playing like he wants to take heads. He's been playing at a very aggressive, high energy level. That was not there last night. That was an interesting thing about Nicholas that I noticed. Is in some ways I fear him. When we play a guy like him, he can be a problem. And he wasn't last night. He was very much like Ben and faded into the woodwork and wasn't really any kind of thing. It's very interesting. David's saying, perfect. Send him this way. Send Claxton to us. Maybe. I don't know. Bryce is saying Oshai gave us a steal and a block off the bench, Lex. His offense will come. Yeah, I don't even know if his offense is any good. His three-point shooting has been dreadful since he showed up. He's made 1 3 out of like 9 or something. It's really bad. Really, really bad. I don't know. In some ways, you got to do something. I get the defensive stuff is cool. I mean, let me look at him closer. 14 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 points, 14 minutes. You know, he got the same kind of stats as Chris and Jalen or Chris and DJ, and they played. He played 10 more minutes than those guys. He got the earlier stint. I don't know. In some ways, he's got to do some more stuff, and then I'll get more behind him. This is the way I am with every new Raptor. You've got to ingratiate yourself to me and show some positive stuff right off the bat, and to show that we're going to grow. And then boom, I'll be more tooting your horn and saying good things about you on the stream. But if you don't give me anything right off the bat, in some ways I'm going to be like, yeah, this guy's not doing anything yet. And that's just where he is right now. See, you saw what I did with Carton. Carton did something last night, and boom, I'm already saying, yeah, this guy's good. You know, that's just kind of how it is. It's just kind of how it is. What was there? Was other thing I was saying? Oh, Darko before the game said in the pregame interview that he has 3 or 4 things for each of the Raptors that he wants to work on with them for the last remaining games of the season. He's going to meet with each individual Raptor over the next couple days and specifically tell them exactly what he wants them to do. I think he took some time this All-Star break to orient himself with development plans for the players. And he's going to start talking to them very specifically about 3 or 4 each things for each of them. And they're going to have like very specific plans for how they're going to gauge progress and development on benchmarks of what they're doing and whether they're meeting them. In some ways, Darko said the players that do the things that he's asking and show progress are the ones that are going to stick around. The really cool thing was he's talking about RJ and his love for Manu Ginobili last night. This is a really interesting thing. I didn't realize until Darko said it last night in the interviews that he's telling RJ to play like Ginobili. I don't know if everybody knew this, but RJ's favorite player is Manu Ginobili, the most winningest player in NBA history. He has the highest win percentage in games out of all players that ever played in the NBA, Manu Ginobili. Well, RJ's out there trying to emulate him, and Darko's embracing it. He's saying, go be Manu. You love Manu? You've been studying Manu forever? Well, guess what? I'm the coach that's going to tell you I want you to be Manu out there. So he very much is encouraging RJ to play like his hero. So does that inform a little bit of what RJ's doing on the court and the way he's playing? Is that Darko wants him to emulate Manu Ginobili. That's very, very interesting stuff. So I'm very curious to know each of the objectives for each of the Raptors that Darko has for them going through the end of the season. And in some ways, the inner workings of him gauging that is going to determine who may be on a roster, who's listening, who's showing progress, Who's showing benchmarks getting attained? If Obaji does this with the 3 or 4 things that Darko puts in front of him and he shows progress on it, well, maybe he does work with Darko in the future. That's really going to be part of it. He wants to see who's going to listen, who he can get going and get better and better and better developing, just like some of those Grizzlies he did when he was in Memphis. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Fiercey saying if Claxton gets less than a tech every third game, he can come over to us next season. There was one tech Bruce Brown got last night, and it was totally warranted for him to be mad, and the tech wasn't as warranted. That was Scott Twardowski being a little jerk. You saw the play right in front of you, Scott. The high-fiving of Bruce Brown after he took that three, he definitely was slapped right across the hand. After he released the shot, homeboy came and slapped him in the hand afterwards on a release. That's still a foul, even if the ball is out of his hand, because the follow-through is part of it. And if you're going to call fouls on people for jumping in the landing spot for three-point shooters, you better damn for sure call the foul when the dude straight up slaps the guy's hand like a high five. So, yeah, Bruce got mad, went off on Scott Twardowski, and Scott Twardowski teed him up. So it's like, that's messed up. He's like, man, on the Nuggets last year, if somebody slapped my hand like that, I'm going to the line. 3 free throws. That's what that is. 3 free throws, Scott Twardowski. But no, you didn't call nothing. And Bruce gave you a mouthful, and then you gave him a tech. It's kind of messed up. That was a messed up little section. That was injustice right there. No justice there. Injustice. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kareem saying Dennis had his best game as a Raptor last night. No, I'm not going to give you a dunk for that. That's funny. I'll laugh at it, but that's not true. He had very good games for us. Come on now. Cowboys saying, yes, Bryce. Thumbs up, him and Carton. That's right. And Kareem's getting laughs from Carlo. Cowboys saying, alley-oop to Kareem. Poor Dennis. You know, I don't want to reward him for dissing him like that, because in some ways that was very mean, but it was funny. So I'm only doing that for Cowboy. I'm not endorsing giving him a dunk for that. I'm sorry. Carlos saying, I think the basketball gods, we have Bobby and Masai. Look at the Nets. They don't even have a pick till like 2028. More poor management. I'm telling you, there's really levels to all this. And casual Raptors fans that have been just used to winning and all the good things happening with the Raptors, y'all don't know the depths of hell that franchises can fall down into. And Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster are 2 of the people that are keeping us from those depths of hell. So any of y'all that are for firing them, you're idiots. You want to be more like the Nets? Okay, all your suggestions about firing Darko, firing Masai, firing Bobby, that's what you will get. Be more like the Nets that we played last night. That's what you want? You're going to get that if you keep calling for heads. Fucking Raptors fans. Seriously, that's not what we want. We protect our guys. I love Masai. I love Bobby. And I love Darko. Darko's an amazing coach. That's right. That's right. Stargate saying, I like Kelly Olynyk. That type of player is much needed on the team. Borderline dirty. I love it. In some ways, Kelly Olynyk is our Kyle Lowry right now, except he's a center. In some ways, that's awesome. I mean, he does all the things Kyle used to do. He takes charges. He talks a lot of trash. He has that kind of winning mentality. He has that scrappiness. There's a lot of things that are similar about Kyle Lowry and Kelly Olynyk on the down low. And I love that. That energy is very necessary around our team. And in fact, having Kelly on our team has made me feel like Kyle's on our team again a little bit, just because of the scrappiness, the leadership, the veteran know-how, the very intelligent scrappiness. Very, very much a Lowry kind of thing. Yeah. Cowboys saying the Raptors are like Allstate, in good hands. All right. What? Are you getting money from them? You want to advertise money? Listen, Tada Services, 647-833-6844. You going to give corporate time on here? No. We're talking about you, bro. Tada Services, as low as $89, starting as low as $89. Yeah. We're going to advertise you, not the corporate Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate bullshit. Fuck that. Chris is saying Kelly replaced Boucher. Sad, but seems the truth. Brown replaced him too. And on that account, I doth protest. Chris is saying, you're right, Lex. The 6th pick is not important at this point. Well, if it's a 6th pick, we keep it. If it's 6 and higher, we keep it. If it's after that, if it's a 7th pick or lower, so what? This year's not that good. In some ways, we need to win. It's going to confuse the hell out of the casuals that aren't paying as close attention as us. But hey, we're up to date. We're right with the Raptors and Darko and what they're doing. And the other teams are going to be like, other fans are going to be like, why are they doing this? We should be tanking. Oh, fuck you guys. You losers wanting to tank. Fuck you guys with your loser mentality. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Kelly straight up replaced Boucher, but there is a little bit of that. I think that's a little bit true. I don't think it's totally true, though. I don't think it's totally true. I think that this was going to happen with Boucher regardless. The writing's been on the wall this whole season with Darko and Boucher. The way he's used them has been very sparingly, and he's definitely not valued him like Nick used to. It's a weird thing. In some ways, it's like Chris is a great player to do certain things, but in some ways, he has deficiencies and weaknesses that Darko does not like, and that maybe that's part of the reason why he's relegated to where he's at with things right now. That if he's trying to set certain things up with paint protection and making that really important, we know Chris is not the best defensive big for paint protection as far as keeping people out. He's a great help defender in the front line, but he's not really good at sealing things out like maybe a Jakob or Kelly is. And that's part of it right there, is that Kelly's more physical. Kelly's more likely to meet people with and be able to hold them off. Like if Jokic is trying to post us up, Kelly can hold them better than Chris can. And that may be a big part of it right there, Chris. Let's see. Cowboys saying Kelly doing the Scarborough's 5-finger discount. Yeah, you got that steal. It's awesome. Stargate saying any fan who's still talking about pick a direction is a clueless casual. There is a clear and obvious direction now. How is someone still asking about that direction? Well, they just feel like it's jerking around too much, and it's really just because of wins and losses that they feel like that. There's going to be success and failure. It's not like they're being jerky or wishy-washy. It's just that you ride through the schedule in the season, and you have ups and downs. And y'all are overreacting to the downs and thinking, oh, they're tanking. Oh, they're tanking. At times I've done that. Sure. It seemed like we were tanking for a little bit on purpose. But I mean, we want to win. That's always been the whole case of this. If we're not equipped to win, well, we don't. And that's just the difference right there. I don't know why we owe them to tell them the direction. The direction is we want to win. Winning is the direction. They can't hear that. Chris is saying, I say, fuck you, all whom say getting Yak and now Kelly O were bad ideas for lost picks. Sorry, kids. Yeah, no, I love having the stability of good big men that are veteran and smart. I think in some ways that's a position that takes so long to develop and get good with big guys. It just takes a while. Like Jakob has a journey that's built up to this. Jakob, when we had him before, was different than we have him now. And having a more complete player at the bigs position is smart, because you don't want them to be kind of green and not as good. In some ways, it's good to invest in veteran bigs and maybe have younger hotshot wings and guards, if that makes any sense. Because those guys need to be smart about how they play the defense in smart ways against big guys in the league they already know. So Kelly and Jakob being on this team is awesome. Everybody uses all the age thing and say, oh, they're too old to be on the team. You're idiots. Once again, the age and being in the same age and all being young is not necessary for an NBA team. Everybody who thinks that. G saying a bit off topic, but for All-Star, thoughts on giving points for steals, blocks, and charges. Maybe teams will play more defense if it's rewarded. That's an interesting idea to try and help the All-Star game be better. I don't know. I don't think that'll work. They'll still be thinking, I don't want to take a charge just to get a couple more points. I don't know if that's enough of an incentive. And Kyle Lowry's out there. He'll do it. Jillian's saying, yeah, I like Kelly's sneaky shot after the free throw. Yeah, Kelly's awesome. I'm really happy about our Canadian guys. Stargate saying GOAT is the most overused, incorrectly used term in basketball. I agree with this. It's absolutely like they don't even understand what this is. The acronym is greatest of all time. And because of Jordan and LeBron arguments, it's gone into weird places. Like they're calling people GOATs. They're like, no, this person has never been a GOAT like in a second in their lifetime. Like you're calling this person a GOAT. They're not a GOAT. It's really getting really bad, watered down, and not a useful term anymore because it's overused. And Dr. J would tell you what a GOAT is. Yeah, he'd tell you it's Kareem. Cowboys saying we're in a win-win situation. Good picks and playing, and we make the playoffs. Watch out, NBA. Well, that's what the secret is with Basai and Bobby, is that these guys are always thinking about no wins, no lose scenarios. No matter what, they game it so that whatever outcome, there will be a benefit to it. And I think that that's something that Raptors fans need to realize. Everything that happens, like the whole thing that happened with Spencer Dinwiddie recently, some people think this is a fail. No, there's a real reason why they did it. There's going to be a benefit this summer. And you may not understand it. And that's part of the reason why you shouldn't be GMing in the NBA, because you don't understand front office moves and why they do them sometimes. And they're very smart in different ways. Like that Spencer Dinwiddie waving, and he's on the Lakers now. Some casual fans think that that's the biggest fail in the world, that they don't understand how you keep your books and the salary cap and a salary dump work. And that's part of the problem. They're just not intelligent, and they just don't understand some of that kind of action as a GM in the league. A salary dump is a very effective thing to do in certain cases. And yeah, let's see. Carlos saying they can't help it, Lex. Caribbean food is so good. I know they were just at the mercy. They're done. They couldn't help it. And they didn't have just like a couple of things. They had like a spread of like so many different items. It was like they were doing a taster's plate. They had like the desserts. They had like, and then they were threatening us out with the rum cake. I was like, oh my God, don't do that shit. Like KG saying like that, this is the PG Jamaican food. Just look out. We could bring out the big guns, like the rum cake with the rum poured all over it. And Matt Devlin's like, we're doing that in the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh, and then at the fourth quarter, he's like, it's rum cake time, baby. I'm like, don't threaten us with a good time if you guys having a good time getting drunk on the broadcast. I mean, geez, seriously. That would be just insane. Like, seriously, I don't like being around drunk people. Yeah. But if the broadcast crew's drunk and they're talking on the air, that might be funny. That might be a little funny. It may get old after a while. I'll just do it once. Don't do it a lot. Like, don't show up and be drunk every time on the air. But if y'all going to eat a Jamaican rum cake that's just drowned out in alcohol and you're going to be blitzed by the end of the game, it could be fun. Could be fun. Maybe not the best, once again, role models. Like the players aren't being good role models on the court. Well, the announcers aren't being good role models either, eating and getting drunk during the broadcast. Yeah. So funny. Oh, so funny. All right, let's see. Cowboys saying drink water, laugh out loud. I got you, Jill. And most saying seeing Scotty mock Bridges had me laughing. I know it was so out of the blue, and I was like, "What are you doing, Scott?" In some ways, I like Mikal Bridges. He doesn't seem like, in some ways, he's the kind of guy that, like, yeah, sure, you might get pissed about it a little bit, but he's also kind of an easygoing guy. He seems like, in some ways, it's like I wouldn't do that to somebody who's really got an attitude, who's kind of crazy in the league. Like you're not going to do shit like that to Draymond or LeBron. Like if you did that to LeBron, he'd probably get pissed off and try and do some crazy shit to you. So I don't know. Poking the bear. Let's pick which bears we're poking. Maybe you can poke Boo Boo Bear, but don't poke a Kodiak Bear or Grizzly Bear. You can poke a little Winnie the Pooh Bear, but don't poke a fucking whatchamacallit? What's a good bear? No, that bear's gentle. That's why his name is Gentle Ben. I don't know. What's a good scary bear? A big scary bear from the history of things. I don't know. Don't pick that bear from that horror movie in the 90s that like terrorized the kids in the cabin. Don't poke that bear. Pick your bears right. You're going to Teddy Bear, Yogi Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear, all the little sweet bears. You can poke those bears, but don't poke the mean bears, the really crazy bears. Infamous is saying Ben Simmons is the Ocean's 11 of the NBA. That's good. The way he be stealing money from the league. Imagine being a point guard that won't shoot. Shaking my head. That's hilarious. I'm giving you a 3-pointer because you really did make me laugh good there, Infamous. That's so funny. Ocean's 11, like he did the whole sting. He's getting in the inside job. He's taking that money out the back of the casino. Jillian saying, Lex, why do you call it garbage time? Sometimes it makes a difference. No, all right, we're going to do a little learning lesson with Jill. All right, the vocabulary garbage time means this. Garbage time happens when the game is already decided and the Raptors and the other team put the bench in. That, the lead is so big and the time is not realistic for the other team to come back and win. Then they put in the end of the bench, and that becomes garbage time. That's what it has historically been called since the very beginning of when I watched it, the 80s. So this is not a new term. This is something that's been around for a long time. And it really is just kind of like, it's not a derisive term. It's just that it's the time when the game's already been decided and one team has already waved the white flag and it's kind of over. And there's not a realistic chance the other team's going to win. So they empty the bench and they play the bench guys. That is technically what garbage time is. And it is a very well used term. And in fact, the announcers will use it too. They don't use it as much as they used to, but they used to use it all the time. And it's not a derisive thing. It's not supposed to be like a bad thing. It's just that it's the time in the game where stats may be collected, but the game's already been decided, and they need to be taken in account that he got 10 points, but what he got 10 points in garbage time when the game was already over, and it didn't really matter that he got 10 points. That's kind of part of why they say it that way too. Kareem saying, I want Chris Boucher on this team, but I also want him to play basketball. I'd rather sacrifice my love for him on this team for him to have a real opportunity elsewhere. Chris has a lot to offer. It's an interesting catch-22. In some ways, I'm like, fuck that, Kareem. Let's keep him here, even if he doesn't play. If he's that young for the next couple of years, is that really a bad thing? He's in the league. He's collecting a check. He's in Canada. He's still on the Raptors. In some ways, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't necessarily want Chris to go somewhere else and play a bunch of minutes. In fact, there's nothing guaranteed. Chris could go to another team with the intention of thinking he's going to get more minutes on another team. He may get even worse, less minutes. And he may hate that team more than he likes being on the Raptors. So there's a grass is greener on the other side fallacy here. You could think that Chris is going to get those minutes and play more on another team, but that is not guaranteed. And his situation here may be still even better, even as it is presently, than what he might go to in another team. Seriously. So we can look at it and say, yeah, you may have an opportunity on another team. That may be very well true, but that's no guarantees of that. Let's just put it that way. Fiercely saying, how old is Darko now? Off topic. Wemby signed a deal with Louis Vuitton as a brand ambassador. That's kind of cool. All right, let's go look at Darko's Wikipedia, and we'll find out exactly how old Darko turned yesterday. He's 45. He turned 45 yesterday, so he is 4 years younger than the man you're looking at right now on the screen. Isn't that crazy? Is that weird to think that he is 4 years younger than I am? I guess I just carry myself very youthful. Yeah, that's a little weird, eh? Darko's 4 years younger than me. What the fuck? No, he's not 4. He's 3 years younger. No, he is 4. He is 4 because I'm going to be 49 this year. Crazy. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Stargate saying Darko and Kia Nurse have the same birthday. Yeah, it was Kia's birthday too. Yeah, the announce crew was interesting yesterday. They were very goofy and saucy, all of them. Even Sam Mitchell being all crazy at the pregame. Some of the shit he's saying is crazy too. Sam Mitchell, in some ways, I like you, but in some ways, you annoy the hell out of me. You really do. David saying Oshai will come around. It's just going to take longer. Seriously, the kid is really a baller. Well, I'll believe it when I see it, David. And right now, I ain't believing nothing until I see it. How about that? Chris is saying, Poku waived. He's from Serbia. I doubt he shows up here. They've waived Alexei Poku from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Wow. The original Slender Man. Yeah, I don't know. As he has a relationship with Darko, it could be something weird. I mean, he'd be a weird element. In some ways, my namesake, of course, I'm going to have a little bit of affinity for somebody who has the same name as me. Rest in peace, Nawali. That was really fucked up that his death last week in Russia, in the Russian jail, Alexei Nawali. Yeah, this is a kind of a canary in the coal mine for democracy in the world, what happened with his death. And in some ways, the things that are happening in Russia right now are fucked up. Well, Alexei Poku on the Raptors, I don't know. That we do have an open roster spot right now. That'd be very interesting. I don't know. In some ways, he's very skinny and kind of looks so breakable. But on the same time, he's very unique, weird player as far as some of his skills. I don't know. I don't have him on a list that I wouldn't want him on the Raptors. I'd be very hesitant and skeptical, but I'd want to see how he could do. Seriously, because he could be very interesting. It's kind of weird that he got waived like this. I thought they were tooting his horn like he's supposed to be so good. Well, the Thunder, that's what I told y'all. You get all those draft picks, you're going to be cutting people that are supposed to be top draft picks and more important, and you've invested. That's the crazy thing about Killian Hayes getting cut by the Pistons. It's like that dude's a number 7 draft pick. It's like you tell me number 7 draft pick matters. Pistons are cutting guys that are number 7 draft pick. That's what mismanagement with having a lot of picks gets you. Cutting people like Killian Hayes and Alexei Poku. And that's why everybody who thinks the Oklahoma City Thunder are geniuses and Sam Presti and what he's done, you're stupid. Yeah, sure, they got Chet. Sure, they got SGA, but the SGA thing was the Paul George trade. It's not all these picks. In some ways, they're managing the Thunder really poorly with a lot of waste. Let's just put it that way. Very, very much waste. He's hit and miss, but he can kind of play. Alexi Poku. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Country Kong saying, Lex, Scotty Barnes was electric last night. He played with so much energy and force. He looked like the Scotty we saw at the start of the season. The All-Star weekend must have been so great for him. He has a swagger. In some ways, I wonder, being around those guys on the All-Star game and seeing who he's playing with, the elite, it's a wake-up call for him. In some ways, maybe he sees the way they operate in that game. He's like, you know what? We did this in the All-Star game on Sunday, this really attacking, aggressive, get up the court and lay it up. I'm going to do this right at the beginning of the game. Boom, block Ben Simmons, grab the ball, dribble down the court, and get a layup to open the game up just because you're aggressive and you're putting your imprint on the game right away. I want to see more of this. Scotty, this is your world. We just live in it. So you go ahead and you make your world, bro. You make your world. I just live in your world, bro. I'm just an NPC in your world, bro. You do what you do. It's your world, man. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Chris is saying it's a shooting that never really went anywhere. Otherwise, I sort of like Poku as a third big on the team. Is he even a center, though? Like, in some ways, I've seen him slotted at small forward. I mean, he's so long and so skinny. Do we really need another guy like him? I mean, we have Jalen and Chris. I don't know. In some ways, I'm skeptical about Alexi Poku. I am skeptical there. Yeah. Jillian saying streaking, rolling on the floor, laughing. Yeah, somebody keeps suggesting someone should streak at the Raptors game, and I'm saying that's not a good idea in any kind of way. It really isn't. Baseball, you can get away with this a little better, but not in an NBA arena. There's nowhere to run. They will get you. And in some ways, the floor burn on a hardwood floor is worse than the AstroTurf at a Rogers Center. So, yeah, streaking at baseball games makes more sense. But streaking in a basketball game, hockey really doesn't make sense. Like, how the fuck are you going to streak at a hockey game? You can streak at a baseball game. Football games, sometimes. Not many people streak at football games. You know why? Because there's a lot of people that know how to tackle there. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's why you don't streak at football games, because they will come and tackle you. Maybe the team will even run out there and tackle your ass. You'll be like, oh, you can get them. You know, in baseball, they're not going to try and catch you like that. The players will stand there and scratch their nuts and stand there and spit, and they'll let the security guys chase you around like Keystone Cops instead. Yeah, your best chances at baseball games. Don't streak at basketball or hockey. Definitely hockey. How the fuck are you going to do that? And then second, football, you're risking your life because you could get rocked, is what I'm saying. That's right. Yeah, let's see. David's saying, that's funny. A draft pick is worth more than Jakob Poeltl. It's ironic, right? Considering Jakob was once a draft pick. Laugh out loud. It's all kinds of stupid. Some people are just never pleased with anything. That's right. That's right. I totally... Jill said Lex froze. David saying, clear your cache and log back in with a new window, Jill. Yeah. And Cowboy saying, later, Lex and Raptor Freaks, have a great day and safe day. Yeah, I'm over noon, so I need to finish up right here. David's got the swords. I don't know why. Chris is saying another thing. Wait, I'm done. And one more thing, Columbo. Okay. Chris is saying, I actually think the world is turning into the song California, Uber Alles. Anyway, have a good day, everyone. California Uber Alles. I don't even know that song. I'm not familiar. Mo's saying W stream, Lex, W vibes. Keep it always, Lex. Good times, go Raptors. Let's try and keep climbing. I'm with you, Mo. Thank you for the cutoff. Once again, I'm so glad that you got to meet Nameless yesterday. What a meeting of the minds, of the Raptors freak minds. You guys are awesome. I love you both, and I'm so glad you got to see each other. All right, let's finish it up quickly. Chris is saying Zen fascists will control you 100% natural. You will jog for the master race and always wear the happy face. Close your eyes. Can't happen here. Big bro, mellow out or you will pay. I'm guessing these are lyrics to that song you just named. Yeah, I don't know. Zen fascists. I don't really couple the word Zen with fascism. That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't. Yeah, and you're using terms like master race. That's dangerous. That's really messed up. Anyway, I don't know that song. I don't know if I'll seek it out. Fiercey saying, got Darko on blast. And Kareem saying, Darko's biggest accomplishment this year is establishing himself and going against the grain and the presser with the refs. Also, painting the picture that SB will be the face of the league, paving the future. I agree with this. I think he's accomplished a lot this season. I think he's doing a really good job. And people will look at the win losses for the Raptors and judge them that way. Well, that's not a good way to gauge it. Let's just trust me on that. Kareem saying people don't understand when Darko did that rant, he also paved the way for him and a rookie coach and his franchise player. He really did. Like in some ways, that's why Scotty says, I love my coach. He's got my back because he's seen it in the press conference and the way he says things, saying he's going to be a face of the league, saying he's an all-star. Well, look what happened. He became an all-star. And maybe Darko advocating that he was an all-star a couple months before he became an all-star may have helped. No lie, may have helped. David saying a dunk for Kareem on his points. I agree with that. I think Kareem's been really on point. 51. Kareem, you're at 51, man. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's see. David's saying also, don't worry, Lex. You won't need to babysit me. I understand I'm not going as a fan. There you go. I'm just saying in general, if anyone's going to the coach's open house, just don't get it twisted. This is not a fan fest. This is a serious course, and some people are taking it for credit. And I told Adriana when we go, it's going to be very much like you're going to a university class. You got to sit there with your pen and paper and take notes because they are teaching you coaching stuff. And I might be taking notes about weird things that I observe of them, not necessarily what they're saying this time. Maybe things that I'm going to say on the stream later. Let's see. David's saying, I'm 40 years old, Lex. I'll be just fine. Yeah, I'm not saying this for you. I'm just saying in general. If anybody was wanting to do that, I know that you want to get your jersey signed. I'm just saying there's no access to them. That's all I was trying to say earlier. Kareem saying when Scotty hits a 3, I fully expect he does that Trae Young cold arm bullshit. I love his trolling, pettiness, and bullying at times. Well, we'll see if this pattern holds. Let's see if he does something. In some ways, this is a bear we may not want to poke. This is Paddington Bear. I'm going to call Trae Young Paddington Bear. Now, Paddington can be a little innocuous and soft, and he can look like some sort of bear that you want to push. But if you fuck with his marmalade, yeah, look out. Paddington Bear might get a little angry and come at you. So I don't know. Trae Young may not be a safe bear to poke. In some ways, we know that this guy can go off, and he's a vet, and he knows what he's doing in the NBA. So I don't recommend poking Paddington Bear. Is what I'll say right now. I would call him Paddington Bear. Why? I don't know. Put him in an overcoat and a yellow hat. Let's see how he looks. Trae Young. Paddington Bear. All right. Trevor's saying, I like what Darko says to the reporters. Stupid question. Atlanta Hawk coach might be watching. Yeah, that was something that happened last night, too. This is so dumb. The reporters are so dumb. They cut this out in the replay, I think. I don't know. I don't remember seeing this. They straight up asked Darko, like, how are you going to play Atlanta tomorrow? And Darko said, I am not going to answer that question. The Atlanta coaches are probably watching this. And it's like so dumb. Like, reporter, you're so stupid. Like, why would you ask? Like, what's the game plan against Atlanta tomorrow? Okay, yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now, the night before, so they can prepare and be ready for it. Yeah, it's so stupid. I feel like we have really dumb people in our media corps. Like, they really don't think about what they're asking. Really, really stupid. Really dumb. Let me come down there. I'll ask some fun questions. What's your favorite color, Darko? Purple. Okay, I love you. All right, that's my question. Bryce is saying Boucher is going to be our Udonis Haslam. I like that prediction, Bryce. If that happens, I'll be very happy about it. I mean, he has to take pay cuts. He has to be okay with just being on the bench and being kind of a dude around. I mean, I'm okay with that. Kareem saying, I'm not sure if Claxton is good or he's just been feasting on us for 3 years because we didn't have a feasible center. This is a good point. That is true. In some ways, we didn't have a good matchup for him. I think that a lot of what happened last night is because he's checked out. I think the commenter said that Claxton is obviously checked out for the season. He understands what's going on. He's like, he's not trying as hard. Is exactly right. I think that's exactly right. I think the real Claxton is not the guy we saw last night. That if he's motivated and he's playing the right way, he's way better. We know this. C4C is saying Manu is great. Yeah, if we're going to see RJ Barrett try and be more like Ginobili, this is not a bad thing. Especially if it's like something that RJ will really enjoy himself. It's like, oh, I love Manu. I'm going to be more like him on the court all the time. There you go. I mean, it's a great person to emulate. I don't know. Does RJ do Euro steps? He's definitely slashing and trying to get the basket and laying it up. That's some of the things that he's doing. Like a lot of these like overarching things where he extends his arms so well and he just gets it past the defender. Then it hits the backboard and kind of swirls in down. That is Manu Ginobili kind of shit. It really is.
Carlos saying, I'll offer live chickens and goats to the basketball guys to keep having Bobby and Masai. There you go. Dude, listen, if we need to do some paganistic, ritualistic sacrifices to keep things good with the Raptors, let's do it. I don't care. Listen, we got some voodoo. We got some other things we can do, some crazy ass chanting around a fire. I don't care. Let's do it. We want to keep these guys around. That's right. C4C saying Kelly O is awesome. Love having him here. I love having the Canadian content come up, C4C. It's so good to have Canadians on our team. In some ways, the loyalty bonus is awesome. The playing up, you look at RJ's stats compared to when he was on the Knicks, there's an uptick. I don't know how much of that is us catering towards more him in the ways he likes to, or is it because he's got more gumption because he's playing for the hometown team? Those kind of benefits and side bonuses are awesome. I always say this analogy about video games. If you're playing a game and you can make a team together and they get any kind of bonuses for putting them in slots together, like if you have two people together, like say you have Iron Fist and Power Man all of a sudden on your team and Marvel Avengers Alliance, and they have a synergy bonus because they were together in the comics, is that kind of thing. So we get a synergy bonus from RJ and Kelly being on our team from being from Toronto. And I think that's awesome. And C4C saying when the rum cake comes out, it's over. Laugh out loud. I know. I was about to be like Vince Carter. It's like, it's over, Matt Devlin. And then we'll really hear the real Jack Armstrong singing. Yeah. You get Jack loaded. I'm sure he'll start singing some old Irish songs and something. And it'll be like on the air and it'd be crazy. It'd be just nuts. It's all over then for sure. C4C. Nice to see you, man. I hope you come back every morning, 9:30 a.m. We're talking Raptors. We'll be back tomorrow to respond and react to the Hawks game tonight and the Santa Cruz Warriors versus the Raptors 905. Yeah, Trevor J saying we have the best broadcast crew in the NBA. They're funny and they keep you engaged. They're intelligent. They say very intelligent, fun things. We are really blessed with them. We could have announcers we hate, and we don't. And in some ways, that's something I'm very happy about. Because honestly, if we had an announcer that I absolutely despised, I would talk about it a lot on this channel, honestly. So I'm glad we have people we like. Honestly, I really am. C4C saying, bro, you look great for 49. Wow, I know some 50-year-olds that look 80. Yeah, I have some health secrets, and I'll share them here. I have nothing proprietary. I'm not this kind of person that's going to try and make monies off of this. I can tell you how I did it. I can tell you different ways. I mean, one of the things that I've done in my life that has really helped me keep looking young is I've stayed out of the sun. You guys don't understand how much sun damage ages your face. You really become a lot more wrinkly and pruny just from being out there sitting in the sun. You see all these old ladies that their whole lives, they were like sun tanning all the time. Well, they look like boots in their face at this point. Well, that's a big key to me. I'm not one of these people that's just out there getting sun and tanning myself all the time. That can help you not have all the, cracks and wrinkles on your face. So that's one of the secrets for me. And keeping hydrate's another one. If you keep yourself very hydrated, you don't dry yourself out, you drink a lot of water, your cells have enough to refurbish and stay healthy and happy and full of life. And that will come through in your whole body. It's really, really very cellular. And you got to make sure you're hydrated. And that can help you. That's just a little side note tip. But I appreciate that C4C. Listen, yeah, people don't understand how old I am. When I tell them, they're like, no way. Part of it is because of the way I act. Part of it is the way I act. Jill saying, yeah, Dennis definitely seemed to be having an off game last night. I hope he's okay. Maybe he's just doing a little help, Jill. Maybe he's a little double agent. He's just helping us out. He said, well, I do actually love the Raptors. And he was just helping us out a little bit there. I don't mind it. It's pretty cool. Let's see. C4C saying we should take a flyer on Poku. He's got potential. He was great on my fantasy last year. I'm not against this. I think the Serbian connection could be very good. We'll have to see how he works with Darko. Maybe Darko knows him already. Maybe it'll depend on whether Darko's keen on him or not. If he's familiar with him already, there could be all kinds of different factors. I'm not against this. He's a player that would be interesting to try out for sure. Jill's saying, yes, Scotty always plays better at the All-Stars. I don't know if that's exactly true. One thing I will say about Scott in his 3 years in the NBA is in his rookie year, he didn't hit a rookie wall. A lot of the rookies, and this is part of the reason why he won Rookie of the Year, hit walls. Like the college season's over and they play way more games in the NBA. Well, Scotty was amazing. In fact, he got stronger near the stretch run on his rookie year when other guys were fading. And that was a big part. It's true. He has a better stamina for the whole entire season than most young guys. And it's true. He often finishes strong for the end of the season when other guys are flailing, kind of worn out and tired. This is a very good thing for sure. Jill, you're right. I think he does. It's not necessarily that he plays better. It's just that he has more energy than some of the other people that are tired out for the season. Yeah. C4C is saying, so is chat super delayed? Lex is answering questions from like 40 minutes ago, it looks like. Yeah. Yeah. I read every question. I will read every comment. So stick with me all the way through. I will get to everybody's. It's just that in some ways, yeah, you're at 12:08 and it's 12:19. So it's only 10 minutes later. I start this stream with the preview. I do all the setup stuff. And then I do the comments, and sometimes they fill up the comments so much, and I just kind of work through them through the whole stream. So that's kind of how it works. It's just the format. Yeah, welcome. Good to see you. I hope you come in regularly. If you're a very passionate, positive Raptors fan, this is your space, bro. I'm telling you, we are only about rooting for our team in positive ways. I hate the toxicness around Raptors fan spaces, and I just want to carve out a little safe space for people that really have the best interests and intentions for the Raptors. And they're not just trying to be little trolls or witty or something like that. We support our team. We believe in our team. We stay positive about our team. And we build and create with our team. And we're not trying to tear them down. And that, if you're about that C4C, you're in the right place, my man. You're in the right place. Jill's saying, yeah, RJ's Euro twisty move is so awesome. I noticed IQ's been doing it too. Yeah, these guys are good at finishing over length near the basket. They really use the backboard and English and spin really well to elongate the shot over the defender who's really right there and right over them. And somehow, some way, they get it up over them and it goes in. And I love that. That's really good. That's really, really good. James is saying RJ makes getting to the rim look easy. I know he does. He totally does. Part of it is he has a really good first step, but then you couple with it, he's got some strength that if he meets contact, he goes through it. He carries them with him. Like if somebody gets on him and he's like, he's not letting them stop him. He'll go right through them and they'll come with him. So you couple a good first step to get the burst of, oh, I'm going. And then boom, when he's close, he uses his muscle. And it's really, really smart. He did a lot of this for Team Canada last summer too. And man, I love RJ. And I love that I'm going to get to cover him all year. We're going to be covering him for the Olympics too. And I'll get that SGA jersey that Tommy gave me, and I'll be wearing that this summer for Team Canada stuff. SGA, Team Canada, Olympics in Paris. Yeah, we're going to be doing this all summer. I don't take a day off. I'm going to have 900 streams in a row, 900 days in a row soon, and we'll beat 1,000 before the end of this year. So I'll have 1,000 days in a row of doing live stream on this channel. I'm going to keep that streak. Yeah, I'm going to keep going. Yeah. Let's see. C4C saying, yeah, bud, I love your channel. Great stuff. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that compliment. And honestly, this is a collective. I may be the guy on the stream that's talking, but you guys bring so much to it as far as y'all's contributions, y'all's ideas, y'all's opinions, and just what y'all contribute is just so awesome. So this channel is nothing without the two-way street. Is very important. Fiercely saying, W stream, Lex and fam, let's go get the dub tonight. That's right. Let's get the 2 games in a row. And if we get the third one against Pascal and the Pacers on Monday, well, Darko dinner. And that's what we want. That's right. Jill's saying sleeping on your back also avoids wrinkles. Cheers. There's another health beauty secret. Sleep on your back. It helps avoid wrinkles. I mean, I have a bunch, Jill. I have a bunch of really, really good, exciting ways how you can keep yourself in good shape as you get older. C4C likes the tips. Let's see. Jill saying, I mean that Fred seemed exhausted after the All-Stars. Just observation. Cheers. Well, Fred was hurt every year the last couple of years that he was on our team. He got hurt in a Pelicans game with his knee, and that one season when we went to the playoffs against Philly, and it was a mess. In some ways, he was absolutely hurt. He probably should have taken some more games off before the playoffs had started, and then he wouldn't have been such a wreck against Tyrese Maxey. He actually admitted that he should have taken time off to heal his knee, and he tried to play through it, and it was really dumb. Like he made a mistake, and he admitted it later. So they're injuries that happen to Fred, and that's why he doesn't close the season as well. He gets beat up over the course of the year, and yeah, that happens. You know, Fred had a Fred game last night, and the Rockets fans are after him. They lost last night, and Freddie had like an 8-point game where he shot really bad. And they kind of saw the other side of Fred, other than the successful side. And some of the Rockets fans are turning on him just because of last night. It's so stupid. You guys got to live and die with Fred. He's been so good for you and Alperin, Rockets Nation. You guys need to be a little bit more allowances because Fred's human. He's going to have shitty games. Trust me. He's not going to be absolutely perfect every game. So, you're going to live and die with Fred. Ride with him and don't stab him in the back, is what I will say to Rockets Nation. Be better than Raptors Nation was towards him. Seriously. He's a great player. He's absolutely awesome. You guys should love him. You do. But let's not be so nitpicky if he shits the bed one game every once in a while, because he's going to do that. Every NBA player does that for sure. C4C saying, oh, okay, gotcha. It works. I was just curious. Laugh out loud. No problem. Yeah, it's just the system of how we do things here. If you're around here for a while, you'll get to know kind of how we do things. We have a lot of the same regulars. We have a schedule in the off season where I do certain things every day. Like on Sundays, I do something called the special report, which I'm going to do this weekend because we have 2 days off. So Sunday special report this Sunday. I'm not totally sure what the subject should be. I'll make it up in the next 2 days and we'll have it for Sunday. It's kind of like a 60-minute segment where I take like an issue in the NBA or with the Raptors and we cover it and kind of look at it. Some of the past things have been like how to use your challenge call effectively, or I've done stuff on refs and how they manipulate the game. I've also talked about like, will the Raptors ever be in danger of being taken from Toronto? We do kind of like not tabloid, but news magazine kind of style 60-minute stuff on Sunday. Monday is a Monday moment where we talk about a moment in the history of the Raptors. Tuesday trivia, which is exactly what it sounds like. Wednesday, Wildcard Wednesday, I'll open up some basketball card packs and do like an unboxing, kind of looking at the cards and talking about them. Thursday, Think Tank is a call-in show where we're going to do this summer where you guys can call me on the air and your voice will be on the air with me. And we do like a call-in show. We talk about issues and how we think we should deal with them. Friday, Freak Out is usually me ranting and raving about some sort of issue from the week. And then the Saturday, Share the Love Club is a day when we take somebody that we want to share love towards, like Gary Trent Jr. or Bobby Webster or whoever, and we just praise them and talk about the things that we like about them. So it's a very positive channel. And all summer, I'm doing a stream every day. I'm not taking the summer off. Every single day, I do a stream. So please join us every day, C4C. Yeah, man. C4C. Join us for sure, my guy. Let's see. Jill's saying go Raptors and go Darko. C4C's, yes, sir. I love the team. Been a lifer. It's the only Toronto team I really cheer. Leafs let me down in the Matt Sundin era, so I dropped them. Haha. Jays, we got back-to-back, so I'm good with that. Haha. Man, I love my Toronto teams. I'm a Toronto guy straight up. And yeah, I mean, the Leafs are interesting. I should be more of a Leafs fan, but they piss me off. I'm actually more a Winnipeg Jets fan. But Jays, all about the Blue Jays. And spring training is coming quick. And I hope the Jays have a really good year this year. James is saying SGA for MVP. Dude's a superstar. I totally agree with this, man, James. I think you're right. My endorsement for MVP this year is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's who I'd like to see to win it. Thank you, James, for saying good stream. And C4C saying, oh, and the Gilmore era let me down too. What this era is not either. I know Austin Matthews is doing really crazy scoring this year. Like he has like 50 goals in like 50 games, something like that. Really impressive in that. Everything with the Leafs is the kind of thing that worries me. Like the difference between the Leafs and the Raptors is Masai Ujiri. If the Leafs had a Masai Ujiri that's like, no, we're not just trying to make money. We're trying to win too. They'd be better off. In some ways, that's the problem. The Leafs are a cash cow. They'll get support and people will buy their merchandise and the tickets no matter what, whether they win or not. And the Leafs, Maple Leafs know that. So they just put the product out there. They know they're going to make the money. In some ways, the intention to win is not totally there. And that's disappointing and upsetting as a Leaf Nation, I'm sure. It's like, fuck, why can't we get a Ujiri that's a driving force that really wants to win it all? That is really the biggest difference between the three sports franchises in this city is Masai Ujiri. Masai Ujiri is a driving force to get championships. When he's in charge, we know that's the ultimate goal. When the Leafs and the Jays, well, we don't know if the corporate people in charge of those teams, other than the GMs, are controlling things and making it harder, and they don't ultimately have that goal. In some ways, they make their money. That's all they give a shit about. And that's what I worry about with Toronto sports. And that's why I tell Raptors fans, value Masai. Because when Masai's not in charge of our team at some point in the future, hopefully not anytime, anywhere near now, it will change the drive for championships on our team. It very much will. You'll see it. Jill's got Scotty on blast, and welcome to the fam, C4C. I love that. See, that's the way we are. Raptor Freak family is a family. And we definitely do like meet and greets and meet in person. There's all kinds of fun stuff we do. Mischief saying, great win last night. We should bring the momentum tonight. I'm with you. I'm with you, Jay. Let's go to Atlanta and kick the shit out of the Hawks tonight. Let's go say hi to Paddington Bear and poke him. Poke him right in the belly like the Pillsbury Doughboy. And maybe go, hee 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 hee. Yeah, I love that Pillsbury Doughboy. He's funny. He always made me laugh when I was a little kid. Look at him. He's so cute. You poke him in the belly. You go, hee hee hee. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the Pillsbury Doughboy. All right, let's do a recap real quick and get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Atlanta, their injuries are as such. They've got Mohamed Gay. I'm sorry. He won't play today. His back. And Okongwu is out, guys, which is a real break for us. We know Okongwu is a really good big man. He's been kind of really dangerous. Clint Capella's returning to the lineup for the Hawks tonight after an absence. So he may be a little rusty. And they are saying that Quinn Snyder will have him on a minutes restriction. So other than that, that's really the news for the Hawks as far as their injuries. Okongwu's out, and Capella's going to be on a minutes restriction because he's just coming back. The Raptors are only listing Marquise Noel is out, and that's it. So we know what's going on there. The refs for the game tonight in Santa Cruz for the Raptors 905, Julian McFadden, Kenneth Gardner, and Eric Alig. And for the Raptors in Atlanta tonight at 7:30, the crew chief is Carl Lane, the referee is Justin Van Dyne, and the umpire is Eric Dalen. All three of the refs for the Raptors Atlanta game favor the Toronto Raptors historically, just so you know. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything that I want to talk about. My 5 stars for the game last night against the Nets: Gary Trent Jr., Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick, and DJ Carton getting his first NBA points. Very, very cool. If you have a Yahoo Fantasy team, Cool Cat, please set up your lineup because some people are getting angry because they do not have a good opponent to fight against. Okay, Trevor, I'm going to read your comment about the package a little bit after the stream. I see you just sent me a message. All right, Jill saying perhaps meet in March. Yeah, we are going to meet, Jill. We've got our meet and greet figured out. We're going to do it for the Coaches Open House. The event for March is going to be March 19th. It's going to be a morning and daytime event on a Tuesday. It's not necessarily the most conducive, but a lot of us are already going to be going. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to go to the Coaches Open House, and we're going to watch Darko and the Raptors coaches do seminars and teach us how to coach. And then it culminates with a closed practice with the whole entire Raptors team where we will be able to watch Darko run a practice right in front of us. So far, Adriana, Monique, Chris, David, we're all going. Morgan. So if anybody else wants to join us, you got to sign up for free on the Raptors Open Coaches House. Sign up and meet us, and we can all sit together. And then after the event, we're going to go to Real Sports afterwards and eat lunch. If you cannot go to the Coaches Open House, you could at least come to Real Sports and eat lunch with us afterwards if you want at around 1:30 on Tuesday, March the 19th. That is when we're doing it, Jill. That's it. Yeah. If you guys are out of town, that's the thing. If you're going to come, well, that's the event we're doing it for. And I know y'all are coming from near Ottawa, so that's up to you if you want to come for that. That's what we decided the event's going to be. Is we're all going to meet up and go there, and it's going to be fun. It's early though. It starts at like 9 a.m. and they're opening the doors at 8:15. So it's an early event. It's going to be like going to school. It's like a university class, and then we're going to go eat afterwards, and it'll be fun. It was such a good event when I went before when Nick Nurse was our coach. I want to go and see what it's like with Darko doing it. It's going to be very fun. Fiercely saying, not going to lie, Trae Young was somewhat likable this weekend at the skills challenge, but back to business today. He was on our side. We were rooting for him because he was standing next to Scott. And that's part of the reason right there. Yeah. Jill saying, Fiercely going? I don't know. You guys, if you want to come from out of town, you are more than welcome to. We'd be very happy to see you at the Coaches Open House. That's just what we decided. It's a natural reason for us to get together. And it's going to be a lot of fun, honestly. Watching a Raptors practice like that is amazing. I'm not going to lie. It's so cool. It is so cool because you see them all right there. And the thing is, there's nobody in the arena, so you're sitting really courtside in like $5,000 seats that close up in the 100s down near the court. So it's a really fantastic event too. I highly recommend it, but only if you got the time off to be able to go down there on a Tuesday. It's not the easiest day to get there. Trust me. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all sticking with me for this whole long stream today, 3 hours, talking about last night's great game against the Nets and also getting you set up for tonight's games for the Raptors and the Raptors 905. Tomorrow we'll react to all the games tonight. And then on Sunday special report, the topic to be determined in the next 24 hours or so. C4C, blessings to you, my man, too. You're welcome. And Jill, KLMNOPQRSTUVWXYNZ. YYZ. YYZ? Yeah. Let's go. YYZ. Let's go, Toronto.